Hey guys, welcome back to We Watch Movie. I'm Mike.
I'm Jay.
And woo-wee!
And I see none of you are wearing hockey pads.
Man, dude, I literally walked in my house like 30 seconds ago. Or like minutes ago, like right when I sent you that link. Jiminy Christmas. I was scared I was not going to be here. I was going to turn on my phone and chime in that way.
They were having a gay porn sale on VHS sets.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to go there today. Damn.
No, dude, we were buying a car and like I got there at 5 and at like 8 o'clock I was like, can we please hurry? Because it just takes forever to go through all that paperwork and shit.
Yeah.
And they're busy as hell. Yeah, I like slapped some meat on a sandwich and my kids aren't even back yet. That's why the worst barking.
Dude, when I had to get mine, it took so long because my credit was so fucking bad. They were like, we're trying to do everything we can. Like we're almost, they were like, it's like, we'll call the Pope and see if he'll co-sign for you. Yeah. They're like, we don't want this piece of shit car on our fucking lot. I want this man to have it because I got a Hyundai.
Yeah, dude, buying a car sucks, man. Buying a car sucks, forever. But I do recommend CarMax though. They got their shit together pretty well. Probably would have taken a lot longer somewhere else because they have no haggle prices. That's the big difference.
Well, I hear that you can call the general to save some time.
Yeah, that's what took so long. Actually, is getting the insurance switched over to that damn thing. But yeah. Anyway, how you fucks doing? Y'all ready to talk about some Dark Knight biscuits?
Woo-wee. Yeah, I literally just finished The Rises of the Darkness 30 minutes ago. That's a long fucking movie.
Dude,
and you know what? So I'm prepared because the Batman is going to be 2 hours and 54 minutes. So I'm prepared.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's one thing. And we'll get into that when we talk about the review. But as much, I do still like The Dark Knight Rises. But, buddy, I fall asleep a couple times.
Man, I got my issues with it, but it's still a solid movie.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry,
Tom, I do like it, though. Don't get it twisted, y'all. I also watched earlier last night. I don't know why I get these kicks. So I first watched Boys in the Hood. I don't know why. I just hadn't seen it in a long time. So I was like, I'll check that shit out. Dude, I have to be honest with you. Ice Cube is a pretty good actor. Like he really is a pretty good actor in that. And then I went and watched then it was free on Tubi Boobies. I watched Baby Boy, which you hate, Tyrese.
Watch that.
Well, because I was in the mood. I wanted to watch all this stuff. So I don't know. I was going. I think John Singleton, which is the one that did Boys in the Hood, actually did Baby Boy. But it's the one with Tyrese, which you don't like Tyrese, but he's the main guy. But again, one of the straight out of Compton veterans, Snoop Dogg is a good actor in that too. He's that piece of shit that won't leave the apartment and stuff. You've seen that movie, haven't you? The Boy of Babies.
No, I got no interest. Never have.
It's pretty good. It's weird as fuck though. It's like it almost is like a weird, like I don't know what it's weird. And then after that I read it, Menace to Society, and I've still got some time left on that one.
That's a good one. I like that one. Juice is a good one too.
Dude, Juice is probably the best one.
Yeah.
But I love me some poetic justice, y'all. Let's give it up for Janet. Janet Jackson and Tupac had magic smoke on the screen, y'all. But it's funny because you can't watch that too much because I don't know, you feel all like fucking badass and stuff, and you're just a white suburban asshole. You're not. That's not gonna cut it.
Boys in the Hood are always hard. That's a great song.
Have you seen? It was recommended, but I don't think I'm gonna rent it. If it was on a subscription service that I had, I would watch it. But I've seen it before. But Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah, that was all right.
Yeah, it wasn't that great, but it was all right.
Yeah. Hey, first super chat of the night goes to Connor Clary. Thanks, buddy. He says, "What's up, guys? Saw the Batman last night, and it was amazingly dark and beautiful. Mix of Seven, some Zodiac, some Chinatown with Nirvana like Batman. That sounds hot.
It sounds like my first time in bed with a woman. It was all the good things for me, but it was a dark night for her. And it was beautiful, but it was beautiful for me.
Same for me, but with a man.
It was bittersweet symphony." Yeah, well, I can't wait, dude. I'm glad that it's got a really high score on IMDb. It's got a 9.1 I saw, so that's really good. Rotten Tomatoes is doing well. It's holding strongs.
Yeah,
I haven't watched any reviews though, and I haven't read anything on it at all.
I read a couple blurbs. It's from what I've read, it sounds like what some people are saying between the people who like it and don't is that the first two acts are the best Batman movie of all time, and then the last act kind of sucks a little bit, or it's not exactly what they wanted. But then at the end of the day, it just evens out, and it's still a pretty great movie. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm gonna wear my my Team Edward sparkly pajamas tomorrow night because I've always been Team Edward. And you know, people can get in line because they're not going to touch my bedazzled jeans that say Edward on the ass. It's property of Edward's what it says.
We should go together, and I'll wear my.
I can't believe, you know, even now that thing is still persisting about people like it's gonna suck because the guy from Twilight is in it. I was like, dude, he's done a lot more shit, and you know, he's actually a pretty decent actor with a lot of range. It's like, calm your tits and relax your crack, sweetheart. It's gonna be okay. They wouldn't put him in the fucking movie if they thought he was gonna do a terrible job. He had to audition like everybody else.
I honestly haven't seen anybody lately say anything. When he was first cast, I saw some stuff.
Well, there's like a pocket of like, I mean, there's like a pocket of hemorrhoids somewhere on the internet that just fucking hate him for no reason.
Yeah. Hey, J Dia with another bag drop from J Dia. I do my money dance. Thanks so much, man. That's really sweet of you, dude. Says, what's up, you beautiful boys? Loving the Batman reviews. Can't wait to hear this review and your take on the Batman when it comes out. I'm super hyped. Just finished Batman Year One and Long Halloween and prep. Dude, J Dia, those animated Batman films are where it's fucking
the best.
at.
Yeah, Warner Brothers always had a market on some of the best animated movies based on their comic book characters, period. Point blank. All right. Marvel can suck a big old donkey cock when it comes to that. Because Warner Brother rules cartoons. I mean, it doesn't sound so cool when you say it out loud, but it's true. It really has. Warner Brothers, they have put out some shitty ones, but it's very, very rare when they put out a shitty cartoon. Yeah, or an animated. I should say animated because when you say cartoon, everybody's gonna be like, actually, no, it's animated. It's graphic.
I saw a lot of people saying, well, if you guys are doing all the Batman reviews, why aren't you doing Mask of Phantasm? And
that's a good one.
You know, for me, it is a good one. I haven't seen it in a long time, but for me, it's like, man, what about if you step into animation, then there's a lot of Batmans you have to do. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like some of those Batman films, those animated films are just as good as Mask of Phantasm. I mean, I guess the only difference is that one was released in theaters, but still, you know,
they did a really good job with, I remember it was the more recent one I watched, Red Sun. What if Superman had been born in the Soviet Union? That's actually a pretty good fucking like, I like that idea. I like that alternate reality shit, and it's actually done really, really well.
Probably a good thing that came out then and not now, because I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that'd be a good idea.
No,
I don't think that's going to sell those tickets.
Let's be happy that the Russians don't have Superman, because that would be ugly.
Yeah, but don't worry, if they had Superman, America has me.
You got your Captain America shield.
You got to go to war. Someone we don't even know.
What's up, Ben Wolf? Thanks, buddy. Says, cheers, sexy monkey. Scream 5 versus Scream 2. For me, it was Scream 2 by this much.
Oh, I haven't. It's out now. I haven't watched it. I haven't had a chance to, but April and I are planning on watching it because she hadn't seen it either. So I will watch it, and I will.
I look forward to your opinion. I think you're gonna hate it.
I probably will. Like I'm not gonna go in like with a lot of hope. I mean, it's like, I don't know, having a condom on and maybe laying down with a girl that may have HPV.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, you said may? I definitely.
I mean, it's like, but it's like, you know, you're desperate enough. You're like, I gotta fuck.
Fuck on, man.
I gotta do something.
But hey, since we got a late start tonight, let's just get right into it. You know. Sorry for eating on camera, guys. I have low blood sugar. I have to eat something. And here we go. Dark Knight, and then we're gonna do Dark Knight Rises after the break, is I guess how we'll do that thing, man. But how many times would you say you've seen the Dark Knight?
More times than I've had sex, so 3. I don't know. I've seen it a shit ton. Probably 30 times since it's been released. I don't know. Because we actually watched it pretty recently because we did a commentary for it on the Patreon.
Did we?
Yeah, it was like it was like 3 months ago, maybe, or 4 months ago.
Damn, I forgot all about that shit. We got a bunch of them shits on there, man. But yeah, dude, I don't know. Every single time I watch it, like no matter how many times I watch it, I can just sit my fat ass in a chair and just I'm right back into it, man. It never gets old.
It feels good when you sit your fat ass in a chair and take all that stress off your legs. I like doing it too, but yeah, it's one of those movies. Like, I think it's, you know what, watching it again, it might be a perfect movie. I think it is a perfect movie. It really doesn't have any issues as far as like any blinding issues. The only thing, I mean, there's problems. The main thing is, I think the Harvey Dent storyline. I think the Two-Face thing could have either you expand it and you make him the main villain in some way or form, in some form or fashion, or you don't even have him in it. Because I do like Aaron Eckhart. I've always liked him since Thank You for Smoking. But I just I feel like Two-Face, which is criminal, was underused in this movie as much as he was really just like overblown and cartoony made in Batman Forever. Like Two-Face is a great fucking character. He's also a tragic character, much like Victor Freeze, and they just don't. I don't know. It's just he's never been given a fair shake on the big screen. And also, again, I also think they underused Scarecrow. Again, I mean, it's like Cillian fucking Murphy, and you still can't do anything with it. Just have him like go in a fucking parking garage and do drug deals.
Dude, there was a long time where I was like, that's not Cillian Murphy. They got a guy that looks like him and sounds like him.
He looked a lot smaller.
Yeah, and he didn't sound right. Like, he didn't look like he was. By the way, it's Killian. We've been saying it wrong this whole time.
Cillian Murphy, yeah.
And I didn't know that either. But yeah, dude, like I was like, that's not him. Basically we were him in the movie. We're like, that's not him. It's like, that's not Cillian Murphy, but it is somehow. He kind of, I don't know. He found it was weird.
I think what happened with him is the way he seemed like kind of dejected with the character in the second one, because he didn't. I mean, he was in it for like fucking 15 minutes, and I think that's what happened. He showed up to the set. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to reprise my role as Scarecrow, and I'm going to have a huge part." And Nolan's like, "No, actually, you're only going to be in it for about 15 minutes." Fuck. He's like, I hate my publicist, but I love Chris Nolan, so I'm kind of stuck.
He's in the third one for a second too.
Yeah, you know what's really interesting about The Dark Knight, and this is what I looked this up because I was just curious. And again, we'll talk about how magnetic and amazing Heath Ledger was as Joker. But I did look this up. I was wondering if Nolan had any plans to put Joker in The Dark Knight Rises, and apparently not. Like, there was no plan other than they said it even took them to convince him to come back for The Dark Knight. So there was nothing in the works for A Dark Knight Rises. And David Goyer, who wrote Batman Begins and helped with Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, said there was an early draft. And he said that this is where maybe fans got confused about whether or not Joker was going to play any part in The Dark Knight Rises. He said, because originally it was going to be two movies split in two. It was going to be Joker's introduced in The Dark Knight and goes on a rampage through Gotham, then gets caught and all that good shit, and blows bubbles out his butt. And then in the third one, he was going to be prosecuted by Harvey Dent, throw acid on Dent's face. He becomes Two-Face. And then that was going to be the third movie, but that ultimately didn't happen. They just kind of combined the two. But that they said, as far Nolan even said at the end of this movie, he didn't even want to come back for a third one because he said he liked each movie being independent of each other. So in the second one, in Dark Knight, in this movie that we're talking about, the way that it ends, it is a cliffhanger, but it could stand alone.
Yeah, no, I could see each of these movies sort of standing on their own too, even though they do intertwine. So I'll go ahead and say, because I have different opinions on the same stuff that you do. I'll say that it's not a perfect movie to me.
You do? That's weird. I thought we were supposed to have the same thoughts.
That's what some people think. But no, it's a 9.5 for me though. I do think it's a little above Batman Begins for me, probably. But they're both 9.5s for me. And the reason is because I think it's a perfect movie. I think it's one of the greatest films ever made. It is no doubt the Godfather 2 of superhero movies. You know what I mean? It's a mob film. It's a crime film. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's so great about it. But my problems are, I do not like Two-Face. Aaron Eckhart's fine as an actor, but I didn't like him as Two-Face. I didn't love him as Harvey Dent.
That's because he's white, you racist. He's got a butt chin.
I would have much rather had Billy D. Williams. But
dude, I said that would have been amazing if they brought back Billy D for they could have made him an older Dent and then made him into fulfilled the circle of life, Lion King.
Yeah, that would have been amazing. And he was supposed to be in Batman Forever too. They actually paid him to go away so they could give it to Tommy Lee Jones and whatever the fuck he did with that. But no, I don't like Two-Face in this movie, dude. Like, I get what they're going for, but I actually thought, and Nolan has this about all these movies, dude, for as perfect and like every single detail is just like stressed over. But then you just have these gaping problems, and we know about gaping. But no, we have these problems, and like, I cannot believe they let that makeup pass, dude. That computer-generated eyeball moving around, I thought it looked like Chancho's.
Well, I liked it. You know what? You know, the reason why I liked it, I guess, is because of how atrocious the cartoony version they made in Batman Forever. Because that was the only time the second time I've ever seen Two-Face on the big screen, like really ever. So I mean, I gave it as much of a pass as I could, because at least I was like, you know what? At least in The Dark Knight, they took some time to make it kind of more grotesque and more like believable. Like, I mean, I don't like CG when it's overused either, but at least more of a believable burn, like a fucked up face than like. I mean, it looked like in Tommy Lee Jones got like, I don't know, a flamingo fucking came on his face. Why was it all pink and shit?
No,
you know, it's like, why is it pink?
I don't know.
I know it's pink in the cartoon, by the way.
I know the chat's saying you liked him better than One Forever. No. The Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face in Batman Forever is one of the worst villains that has ever been put on screen. So like, but I'm saying the floor is here. Like the floor is as low as it can possibly. Oh my dick! The floor is as low as it possibly can go, and like, you know what I mean. So that's a pretty easy thing to beat. I would think a Christopher Nolan film would do better than that.
Well, and
like
it's
he's
also,
not even burnt. He's literally just his skin's gone. He's like an X-ray. You know what I
well,
mean?
I know you're. Well, it's really hard. I mean, Aaron Eckhart, the character of Two-Face was going to be hard pressed anyway to stack up with the performance that Heath Ledger put in this. And really, the story was revolving around Joker's obsession with Batman and bringing down Gotham to a level of like anarchy and disgusting, dog eat dog kind of mentality that he wanted. So Aaron Eckhart, or not Aaron Eckhart, but the Two-Face character itself was more just tacked on. I feel, and I hate when they do that. I hate when they do that because, again, I think Two-Face is a great fucking character. I think he's an awesome character and one of the better rogues villain that Batman has. Either give him a full movie where you dedicate all the actual time to build his character up and then do his actual story justice, or don't have him in the film at all. Or like you can mention Harvey Dent. He could have been Harvey Dent throughout this entire thing and never turned into Two-Face, and then you could save him.
Yeah.
Then we wouldn't get Bane. But
well, I'd be fine with Bane, but they could replace Catwoman with him. That's for fucking sure.
Oh God,
you know what I mean?
That's another character. Again, it's a tack on. Again, I know there's a lot of love for Catwoman's titty juice. And don't get me wrong, she's very sexy. Catwoman is obviously,
I guess it'd be titty sweat
or whatever. Yeah, you don't want the titty juice. That means she's pregnant. And you're sucking on juice.
That's just
but
milk.
No, you're sucking on them old milk duds. But the thing about her or Catwoman and stuff, I know that she's integral to Batman, but I've always felt like what the thing about Catwoman's a cool character, and I know there's a lot of love for her, but it's the same kind of feeling I have with her as I have with Robin. Like Batman doesn't really need either one of them to be a successful, a badass movie or a character. But anyway, I think we'll get more of that Dark Knight Rises. Now, Two-Face though, I liked it more because of the Batman Forever atrocity that they did to the character of Two-Face. But I understand why people would say it's tacked on. And again, it was never going to hold a candle to the performances in this movie.
Yeah, and I also think that Aaron Eckhart overacted the shit out of that. There's something I think there was just something about these movies where these guys felt the need to like play up to the material. It was so good around them. Christian Bale definitely did, yeah. But like I think Aaron Eckhart was even worse when he's like laying in the bed. He's like, "What was her name?" He's like, you know what I mean? Like when he lets go of his hand, he's like, "Oh."
But he was like, "What they used to call me down in the apartment," and he was like, "Say it," and he was like, "Say it." It kind of scared me because I was like, "Oh," because it reminded me of a Bloodsport. He was like, "Say it." Like, when he's trying to get Chung Lee to fucking say mate, but yeah, it was like, "Say it." Or Sega, it kind of sounded like Sega too, but I guess so. Maybe it was just one of those things. Yeah, maybe they were overcompensating for like Heath Ledger just being as incredible as he was. They're like, God damn, he's doing really good in each scene.
And I think actually, talking about Christian Bale, like and his overacting, I think he was actually okay as Batman through like 72% of the movie.
He got real bad.
For me, it was the rooftop scene where he went off the reservation, dude. He's like, I just showed you the people.
Yeah, he sounded like he was in between strokes and shitting his pants. Like he was like, I was like, God, you're nutting too, aren't you? I know you are in that suit.
He does it bad in The Dark Knight Rises too at the end, but with the trigger shit.
The voice got worse and worse, just like the helmet or the cowl got worse and worse as the movie went on. Yeah, it's so weird. It joined up.
That's my only, just finishing up the only problems that I had with it because I don't have a lot, just enough to keep it from being perfection.
Yeah. Mine's pretty reflective of it too, the same way.
I thought it was a perfect film. I thought the ending kind of shit the bed a couple times a little bit, dude. When everything's like at its highest peak, right? Like things are really burning and turning when we've got Batman and Joker on the roof, and then he gives his whole little speech, and then now we've got to go back and do Two-Face's thing at the end. And then it was just kind of confusing when he takes off running and he's like, he's the protector and all that.
I actually got teary-eyed with that shit. I don't know why. You know what it was? Is the majestic, amazing music of Hans Zimmer when he's leaving, when he's running away, and he was like, but he didn't do anything wrong. And he's like, and he's like, because he can take it. And then you go back to that speech that Alfred gave. By the way, Michael Caine, best Alfred, period. Michael Caine, best Alfred, period. 100%. I really believe that. But when he was giving that speech to Batman, when he was like, to endure, to take it, you have to endure, you have to take it because Batman can take it. And then it's reflective of what happens at the end when Commissioner Gordon tells his son, because he can take it. He's like, he's a watchful protector, a silent guardian, a dark knight.
Mhm.
And then I was like,
Yeah.
fuck, I gave me goosebumps. And I was like, I was crying. And then I was like, I had a boner.
And I'm saying, like, I like that. Like, that I like. I just think that the whole thing, at that point, it felt like they're like, okay, we got to make this cake. And then we get to the end of the movie, and it's like, we spent so much time making all the rest of the cake perfect. We had to put sprinkles on it. And they were just like, yeah. You know what I mean? It felt like they had so much to wrap up so fast. And like, it was on the right track up until the roof scene. And then right after the roof scene happened, it was like, oh, fuck, we got to go back and do Two-Face now. It just felt like it ran out of some sort of steam. I don't know. Like, I think Two-Face's ending, as cool as the dialogue was at the end there, right before that, Two-Face's ending, I thought it just should have been just better. I don't know.
Well, again, I think that goes on to the character being almost tacked on.
Yeah.
Or not having a full movie to really explore that whole psyche, that whole broken psyche that Harvey Dent had at that point. Because I mean, it really was a fucked up situation that he was in. I mean, he was the golden boy of Gotham. He was leading the charge against Maroni and the other mob guys, and then everything's taken from him, and now he's all fucked up. They could, if they built a movie around that whole scarred psyche thing, and then brought him out as a big giant monster with a tragic backstory, it'd be a lot more compelling. But yeah, nonetheless. Yeah, I've got problems. I mean, I feel like I still like him. And again, I'm using the basis of Batman Forever's Two-Face as the reason why I like him. And I like Aaron Eckhart. I think Aaron Eckhart's a really good actor. And I feel like they picked as good of an actor as they could have picked for that role. But I don't like, I do feel like Christian Bale was definitely overcompensating for a lot of this movie. I mean, not all of it, but some of it. But yeah, you're right. Like 75%, he's all right. And then, yeah, toward the end, it's like he just said, fuck it. He said, I'm going to go straight goddamn DMX. Like, just start barking and shit and fucking getting that gravelly ass voice. Watch yourself.
Like Heath Ledger's out acting me. This can't happen. Not on this rooftop.
But as far as, so I would give those, but I feel like it's not enough. I still think the movie itself, the core idea of the movie and the way that the movie flows, it flows so fucking well. And it's, it's 1,000 miles an hour. Like, never stops. It never takes its foot off the pedal, and it's always pedal to the metal. It's fun as shit. There's always a cool thing around the corner. It's shot amazingly well. And again, the central story is really well crafted and done well. And there is this glimmer of hope that I think is missing in a lot of the other Batman films that it's like they focused in on this hope setting that you don't really, the other Batman movies hadn't really done. And again, Joker is Heath Ledger is the best part of the movie. Like, he steals every fucking scene that he's in. So to me, and I would do, if there was a way I could give it like a 9.9.5, I would do that just for the bullshit. But I have to give it a 10. I have to give it a 10. I don't not only think it's hard because I think Spider-Man 2 is a really incredible good movie too. But this movie is different. It transcends in a way that Spider-Man 2 is maybe the best superhero movie of all time. This is a really good, maybe tied for best superhero movie of all time, but it's also just a really solid fucking movie. Like, you take out the superhero shit and all the other stuff, leave the central ideas, and it's still an incredibly put together movie.
It's good enough that if it's not in your top 5 superhero movies of all time, you're just doing it wrong. I mean, it's got to be somewhere. It's got to be at least in the running for it. And I actually think, like, now that I've gone back and watched them, as much as I love Logan, and even not giving this a 10, I actually prefer this over Logan now. After rewatching it again, and I just think that
Logan just reminds me of us now, like Over the Hill, and like everything's we're drinking a lot and it's fucking shit. It's like, you're coming to the end of your train line.
Give me some of that green shit. But no, man, like, and we all know Joker was great. We all know how great Heath Ledger was in the movie. For me, the thing that I always pick up is just like the way that this is filmed, dude. And it always hits its peak when Joker gets out and he's in the backseat, he's in that car, and it's just that, and he's like, his head's out the window and it's just blowing in the wind, and he's just freaky. Like, everything is so fucked up. I'm like, man. But the lead up to that, dude, I've almost nearly ever seen a movie that puts a city in fear the way that this movie does and captures it, dude. Like, what he does to the city, and like, and again, dude, it is The Godfather too. The scene where he's going through and he's killing people off, and the lady looks at the thing that says up, and she blows up, and the commissioner dies because he drinks the arsenic or whatever. Like, the way that people are like getting popped off like that, it's like the end of The Godfather. You know what I mean? I love that shit so much. This is the best crime superhero film of all time to me, no doubt. And I guess we'll see. And then you got like people, even the guys that didn't have large role. Eric Roberts was fucking awesome as Maroni. Yeah, like, dude, just the small unsung heroes that made this movie really like well done. I mean, he's not a small character, but the supporting cast is really also the backbone of the movie. Morgan Freeman as Lucius Fox gets a bigger role in this. Amazing.
Every fucking thing he did was awesome.
You're
But
gonna
again,
embarrass me
I
in
think
front
the
of my
reason
friends
why
looked in it.
what they did with Joker was they took him and I think that a writer and a director finally took what the Joker was supposed to be seriously. And they made him creepy and they made him insane and completely 100% detached from reality, with the idea that chaos rules the world and is a sole believer in anarchy. And he even he's kind of got a glimmer of truth there, because he's like, these civilized people will eat each other. Like he's like, once the chips are out, or the chips are down, humanity, mass hysteria. Like that's why, that's why you're always afraid. Like, what if Alien comes down to say, hey, what's up? So I was like driving by your planet and I ran out of gas. So you guys got a shell? And they'd be like, oh my God. And then the society might fucking break down and then just start shooting each other and acting fucking crazy. Or what if something else terrible happened? What if an asteroid was going to come? Everybody would be like, fuck it. So that's what Joker believed in. And I feel like they crafted the character of Joker perfectly. And Heath Ledger, dude, he took it to another level. Now, I do like Joaquin Phoenix's version of Joker. I do. But you got to respect the fuck out of what Heath Ledger did to this. Because I can't compare the two. They're so different. So is Nicholson's. They're so different. But I will say, I think that because I just watched it today. I think that Heath Ledger's Joker is probably the most compelling of all the other Jokers.
Yeah, I think I'm ready to say that Heath Ledger is my favorite Joker of all time. I am,
because you just watched it.
I know, but I always come back to it.
A lot of people think that way.
Yeah, I always come back to it. But you couldn't go wrong with Nicholson, him, Leto. Just kidding. Nicholson, him,
that's a stinky
or Phoenix
fart on the cloud of fucking, like, that's just a stinky fart in the clouds. The only thing that helped that along a little bit was Snyder. A little bit.
Jared stands up. Sit the fuck down. Oh,
yeah. You're not supposed to be here. No one invited you, asshole. Go back to the desert and lead your cult.
But yeah, dude, I think that like you said, there's so many small characters. The build up of the city, the fear, the way that they did that scene with Joker where he's holding that thing over fake ass over Wish.com Batman. When he's holding,
yeah,
and he's like, look at me, look at me. And then he's like, oh.
I'm a man of my word. I was like, woo, that's freak. I was like, yeah, my nipple got a little weird out there because it kind of scared me a little bit, because it looked like very like if a killer really did do that shit and send something to the Post or send something to the news, that's the way it would look. I don't know. It just looked creepy. It looked like real graphic or something. The other thing I want to talk about is I do want to talk about the person they used to replace Katie Holmes, Maggie Gyllenhaal. She's not bad. She's not. No, she's a better actress. I don't like. But I like Katie Holmes. She's a better actress overall. But one of the parts I thought was funny, because again, the whole thing with Rachel, I'm kind of glad that she died in this. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, yeah, it's getting tired. I mean, even the leftover storyline with Batman from Batman Begins, I was like, yeah. I was like, Vicky Vale at least had the fucking common decency to go fuck, probably Knox and leave. Like, she didn't show up and keep on hanging around. But I was like, so when she died, I liked it when he's like, yeah, they're coming for you, Rachel. And she's like, yeah, I know, but I don't want them to. And then I liked it when Batman saves Harvey. And I wish it's like, you thought, you stupid bitch. You thought.
Yeah.
It's like, don't always be assuming. And Rachel, I was like, maybe Bruce Wayne knew. He's like, Batman was like, hey, you know what? I do love Rachel. But at the same time, I know she'd be fucking that DA. So fuck her.
Yeah, dude. Like, Rachel continues to be the character continues to be a shitty person. At least the shitty love interest, because we talked about the end of Batman Begins. She's like, I just miss the old you. And it's like, what do you want? We talked about that. But in this one now, she's like, oh, I'm all yours to Harvey Dent. And then the second Christian Bale flies in on a helicopter, he's like, that time is coming where I'm gonna take that ass. And she's like, okay.
Yeah.
And then
he
kisses her.
You think your vagina tastes like candy canes? Like, it's not fair. You just act like your shit's like all so good and rainbowy.
Christian Bale tells her he's gonna give up his whole life as Batman for her, and she goes, okay. And then like the next second, she goes back to her room and writes some stationery to him, and she can't even tell him. She's like, hey, Alfred, give him this bullshit. Fuck that guy. I'm marrying Harvey. It's like, dude, you two-timing slut.
It's like slut. It was. I don't like. Maybe I just don't like the character of Rachel that much. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people. I think she was fine in the first one. It made sense. It built his character. In the second one, I think it was redundant. I think it didn't do anything. It just was there. because they didn't have any. They were like, and then Nolan was like, yeah, I probably should have just like not wrote her into the fucking story, but I gotta kill her off.
Maggie
I'm
Gyllenhaal
just
was
bringing
badass
back
in it, though. I will give her
huh?
credit for that. Maggie Gyllenhaal was badass.
No, she's
in
a
it,
great. No, I say that she's a more talented
Yeah.
actress than Katie Holmes, but still, I just think the character of Rachel is, it's played out. And then I gotta say one of the, and again, this is where, by the way, this is where the suit starts really diving for me. Like the helmet,
Yeah.
I mean, the helmet
Start
is
getting
not good.
squishy.
Yeah, it's like that shit looked like it was brought by, like it was sponsored by Harley Davidson, because it starts looking like a fucking motor. I mean, there's one when he goes to China, to Hong Kong to get Lao. He literally puts it on like a fucking motorcycle helmet. I'm like, that ain't the way it's supposed to be. But anyway, yeah, it looked like shit. And then, but I will say one of the cooler things, dude, I swear to God, when this I remember seeing it in theater, and I was like, fuck, is when his car gets all fucked up. That, by the way, that chase scene that he has with Joker is some of the best shit ever on screen. It was some of the best shit ever.
I mean, really is. Like, it's maybe one of the best scenes. Like, at some Terminator 2 level, the scene where he's on the motorcycle level. Like, just imagine this. Like, Joker in the middle of a 10-wheeler, whatever the fuck they are, 16-wheeler, underground in Gotham, sliding open the door and shooting a rocket launcher at Batman.
Yeah, driver's like, is that a bazooka? He said, where'd he get one of them? Wish.
My favorite part, I think, of the whole movie is when Joker's driving when he has to take over the driver's seat and he's driving. He's like, I like this job.
Oh, dude, I laughed my ass off when Batman hits him with that cord, and he's like, haha, he missed. And then he flips his whole semi truck around. But the part that I thought was just like, oh my shit, because I didn't think it could get better, because that chase scene was already incredible, is when the Batmobile gets all fucked up and then it becomes a motorcycle. I was like Poindexter and Avenger, there it goes, ah, and I looked down and I was like, my Dark Knight rose, because it was like, I was like, holy shit, you could not prepare me for it to be a motorcycle. And then it pops out, and then you have that again, that Hans Zimmer score is freaking on point. And again, I think we've talked about this before. I know he said in one of our, like, are you going to prefer Danny Elfman's score or Hans Zimmer?
It's gotta be Zimmer, dude. I think now for me.
It fits this one perfectly. I don't know. It's so hard to pick, but yeah, dude, that there was just something really, really awesome about that chase scene, and then you get to see those gadgets, and then that really crazy ass way that when Joker's walking towards Batman, he's like, I want you to do it. I want you to do it. I want you to do it. And then I was like, it was so, I don't know, dude. And again, it's 1,000 miles an hour, like from the beginning to the end. It never really stops. It just goes and goes.
I think that this movie is Christopher Nolan. Some people will say Interstellar and all Dunkirk and all the stuff he's done, but I don't think that he will ever make a movie as good as The Dark Knight, man. Right, I just, God damn it. I think it's his masterpiece. I really do. And like, just talking about action scenes, there's just so much to even talk about, dude. Like, there was that giant chase scene, which is one of the greatest action scenes in history. And then the whole Lao thing, when he has to go to extradite him or whatever. Yeah. Dude, the fact that they thought up this crazy ass idea, which makes no fucking sense. It's fucking Balagadoo in the real world, but he actually has to get sucked out of an airplane holding a dude while it flies by. You know how intense that would be, to just be like flying on that rope, like, oh!
First off, Lucian Fox fucking said, in the 1960s, the CIA had a project, how to get their agents on a hotspot. So he said it, it's real.
Yeah, no, that's
happened in real life.
That's what Nolan does so good. He went back to the Batman Begins playbook a little bit to make some of that shit realistic with that one.
Yeah, I like how they explain everything, because they even get down to the smallest detail, like when Batman becomes a motorcycle badass and he leaves the Batmobile, he even has the auto destruct. Because I was like, you ain't gonna leave that. Don't leave that, because people are gonna. And then it says on. I was like, there you go. That makes me feel better. They didn't leave out anything.
There is one scene in there for all you fucking people like talking about the Snyder films. Batman doesn't kill. All right. In that chase scene, Batman is literally just obliterating all these parked cars in this garage. And they actually show two little children playing with toys in the back seat. And they're like, haha. And then an explosion happens. But if Batman had just picked the next lane, he would have just killed two kids, because he was just obliterating parked cars. God knows how many people died in there and in the city and the chases and all that.
Yeah, but they weren't contributing anything.
There would no doubt be collateral. There would be collateral damage if he was out here fucking up these streets in real life like he is in these movies. There's
I like that Schwarzenegger movie, Collateral Damage. Explains a lot.
Great movie.
It really is actually. Well, I mean, dude, honestly, he took the Batmobile and he hits a dump truck head on. The bad guys.
Yeah.
They dead. Like there's not there. I don't think there's airbags in that bitch.
Yeah.
They're dead. And he hits it with basically a mini tank. But yeah, I mean, everybody's always giving Snyder first off, that can easily be explained away. Tim Burton, Batman Returns, he fucking set a guy on fire at the beginning of the movie. All right. So in Batman Returns, he literally set a guy on fire. So Batman's killed before in other movies. They just don't like Zack Snyder for whatever reason. But either way, The Dark Knight, man, the action sequences were incredible. Everything about I was never bored. That's one thing I can say from The Dark Knight. I never got bored watching it. Not one time.
I think
he was so. And again, I know it's Heath. I mean, and it's not saying it's not post-mortem like where he's died, and you're just gonna lick his asshole because he's dead. He was so incredible in that role. It really it was unbelievable what he was able to do with that role and bring it off the page and make it separate from what Nicholson did. Because up to that point, you had the guy from the Adam West Batman, Cesar Romero.
Yeah,
is that his name?
I think
so. I saying that? I might be wrong, but anyway, you had that guy that wouldn't shave his mustache, but he played it fine. Then you had Nicholson, who was up to this point the only Joker people knew. So Heath Ledger had to come up with something unique, different, and totally by itself standalone. And he did a perfect job. I mean, every time he was on screen, dude, every single time.
Yeah,
it was funny how mad Michael Jai. That's another one. Michael Jai White was in it.
He was great in it too.
Yeah, and it's just funny how Michael Jai White was he hated, like he just didn't like clowns. Maybe a clown put like a water balloon in his butt when he was younger, because dude, immediately he just fucking hates him. Like for whatever. I know he's still half their money, but the Chechnyan was like, no, I want to hear what he has to stay. And then
that guy's underrated.
I hate this clown.
That guy's underrated in this movie, by the way. It was not only that, he was like, I want to hear what the clown has to say. Mm-hmm. But when the restaurant, when he's like, your friends are coming with me. He's trying to take a last bite of food. He's like, oh.
Yeah, he just looked like he fell into it.
And then
he was probably like a grunt, and then he like maybe rose up through the ranks. But yeah. I just thought it was funny that Michael Jai White's character was just audit. Like it didn't matter. Like even if he came up with a good idea, it wasn't going to make a difference. It was like fucking Ronald McDonald was telling you the secrets, and he's like, I fucking hate clowns. Like I don't want to listen to a goddamn clown.
It's like the character from Grind. I hate clowns, man.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah. I mean, you can't say enough about that supporting cast. It was so freaking good.
If it was just a mob movie, like if it didn't have Batman in it, it was all about the Joker versus this Joker type person versus this mob. I mean, it would have been a classic in its own right, just alone. And the fact that you add Batman to this, goddamn, just a genius fucking.
Well, movie, if it was just a mob movie and it was kind of on this level, I would wait for Ben Affleck and Matt Damon to show up and be like they were retired safecrackers that were pulled into one more heist. That just feels like it kind of feels like a Ben Affleck. You know what's really? It's like The Town, but with superheroes in it. It's kind of, I mean, it's not exactly, but you know what I mean? It's got that same vibe to it.
I mean, it even opens up with that bank heist scene, which is like, and you got these William Fichtner's just in there, just this badass little tiny role that just comes in there and nails it, it's amazing, dude. It's an amazing movie. I'm so glad that we lived during an era when this movie came out. I think it might be the best Batman movie. We'll have to talk about that, but I think it may be the best Batman movie of all time, maybe even after the Batman comes out. I don't expect the Batman to be as good as The Dark Knight. I think it's going to be great, but I don't expect it to be as good as this, man. That's a load of expectations in your pants.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if it is better than The Dark Knight, somebody sold their soul to Satan.
Like, how do you keep doing it?
I don't know. But no, how? I mean, it could be. It could be. I mean, it could be pleasantly surprised, especially in today. Well, this movie was 2 hours and 40. No, this movie was 2 hours and 30 minutes. So you have almost an extra 30 minutes in the Batman.
Let me ask you this. You know what I would have flipped, dude? I think the movie would have been a 10 if they had flipped one thing. Well, first off, take the Harvey Dent stuff out. But that's another thing we didn't even talk about, dude. They die hard with a vengeance, this bitch. She's like, you got to go to juvie for a Butterfinger? He's like, look around, man. All the cops are gone. Because they put the bomb in the school. And they do that with the hospital. And just fucking genius, man. And then Joker, just the scenery. Like, this movie has the prettiest shots, the prettiest cinema shots I've ever seen in my fucking life, whether it's Batman standing on one of those things while they just scope out of the city, or
after Rachel
Joker
dies and he's standing in the rubble.
Yeah. Or Joker just walking around in that little skirt with the thing. Is like, this fucking
he's like, hi. That's like the way he said hi to Harvey in the hospital is like when you got drunk and you fucked up and said something really mean to your girlfriend, wife, or fiance, and the next morning you try to bring her breakfast.
Yeah, exactly.
And she's mad at you still, but you wake her up with some scrambled egg and you're like, hi. You still pissed?
That's dead on, dude. But I think the movie would have been a 10 if they just did one simple thing, and that's flip two scenes. I think the chase scene that ends with the truck and Batman and Joker, and then ultimately Joker gets the jump on him, but Gary Oldman saves the day in that scene. But I think if that scene was the end of the fight with him and Joker at the end, and they took the sonar shit and the building shit and put that in the middle of the movie, I think the ending would have just fucking just been balls, dude. Balls to the wall.
That was another thing
I think it would have ruled.
I liked it a lot. Yeah, I love balls in the mouth. I mean, balls against the wall. But I really liked that when Lucius Fox, when Morgan Freeman's character types his name in, because he was like, "You consider this my resignation," and he's like, "Just type your name in." And I love that because it was like, and then that whole speech, when again that goes back to when Gary Oldman at the end, he's like, because sometimes people's faith need to be rewarded. And when he types his name in, you see it all fucking go to shit. I mean, there's simple little things in here that just made it awesome. Also, Michael Caine, Alfred talking about the story of the bandit in Burma, and everybody's like, sometimes men just like to watch the world burn. Like that whole speech.
Oh God, that was.
I was like, God damn, that's good. And then he was like, he's like, you can't bargain with them, you can't reason with them. There's nothing about them that there's anything remotely logical about what they do. They just like to fucking fuck with the established order. I mean, it was like pretty much I imagine that Heath Ledger's Joker grew up on the Ramones and the Sex Pistols. He just doesn't care about anarchy. And he probably smells like dirty Cheetos. But yeah.
Yeah, dude. Dude, it's one of those movies I actually hate to review because it's like, no matter what you say, you're not going to do it justice. I mean,
no, there's no way. I mean, you could take 4 hours and talk about it and you still won't.
It's a fucking gym, man. It's a gym. And like, it's not fair for me to give it a 9.5, but I can't help it. There's glaring holes in maybe the most beautiful fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. But then
that's what makes a diamond truly special. Sometimes there's flaws.
Yeah, someone drew a little dick on it, and that's okay. That's okay.
I'm going to give it a 10 just because I can't really go any. I mean, like I said, if I could give it a 9.7 or 9.8, I would, but I can't. So I got to give it a 10. And again, there are problems with it. But the thing about the problems that I have with the movie doesn't make it any less enjoyable. Like, because there's certain times when you watch a movie that if there's problems in the movie, it really takes away from you fully enjoying the movie. And these are like nitpicky. They're almost nitpicky because the movie is told so well, and it just accelerates from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie that it's like, I have problems with the fucking bitch. Okay, I put premium gas in my car and I spent more than I should have, but goddamn, my car runs smooth.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing too. I think the rest of the movie is such perfection that when you look at Two-Face's makeup and the overacting by that character, I'm like, I think it sticks out way more than it would in any other movie ever. You know what I mean? Like, how are you going to put this much detail and beauty into everything and then just CGI bullshit a gigantic character's face on like that when he's like, it boggles my mind how they let that go.
He was really good. I do think he was really good though. And when he was talking to Gary Oldman, and he was like, he's like, punish me, don't punish him. He's like, I'm about to, and he's like going to shoot his kid in the head. I was like, that's kind of fucked up. Like that got really freaky.
Yeah, he may have found his groove with that character by that because he wasn't bad on the rooftop scene. You're right.
Well, yeah, especially when he's trying to make it. He's like, I wanted to, find out who you love the most, and then he pulls his son out, and then he was like, I want you to lie to him.
That's fucked up.
And I was like, yeah. So and then he shoots Batman, and then when Batman just comes out of fucking left field, like he was taking a breather after he shoots him in the gun, I was like, you're all right. And then when he jumps and grabs Two-Face and throws him off that ledge, you hear that that Hans Zimmer thing. I was like, where the fuck were you? Were you just like on the knee way? Like, he just like jumped out like left field.
Yeah,
he looked like a secret character from Mortal Kombat. You just unlocked the code. He just came on the screen.
I like, by the way, that Batman can jump out of a fucking skyscraper, and land on a car holding someone and be just like, that was fun, or like,
that made no sense.
Or when he drops Eric Roberts, he uses his cape to get some air, and he like just lands there. But in this scene, he's like fucking like, oh fuck, I landed on my ass.
Well, he's out for a second. He probably broke an ass bone. I mean, look, we know from Joe Dirt that hurts. But I thought I broke my ass bone. I was lay there for a while. But the scene with Maggie Gyllenhaal when he jumps out of the skyscraper or whatever it was, and I think it's because if in the first movie of Batman Begins, the cape can be rigid or be whatever shape you want. So maybe he made it some kind of like material that softened the blow. I don't fucking know. I mean, because that's also why when he jumped down at the very beginning of the movie at the garage at the parking garage, did he like smash that dude's fucking roof in? Like he weighed like 500 pounds, unless he used the cape to give him more momentum and gravity.
Yeah, there's some stuff there's definitely some stuff in there that you question. The fight, I also kind of wish they would have switched up the fight style a little bit more. It seems like every time Batman gets in a fight in this movie, he uses the same moves. Like the
Mhm. Oh yeah, he does.
like
Well, yeah, it's basically like Steven Seagal saying that he's like a master of everything, but really only know like 3 moves.
it's like you go back to the
Yeah,
original where you're doing the crane and the bear and the giraffe and shit. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
I don't know why. Yeah, he didn't really have a lot of like mixed martial arts kind of vibe about him when he was fighting.
That's what Two-Face looks like to me, dude. He looks like one of the Mars Attacks aliens with their fucking eyes. I'm like, ah.
Oh
You
yeah,
know what I'm saying?
he does kind
That's
of look like that.
exactly what
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, but still, hey,
but yeah,
that's
it's like I mean, really at the end of the day, it's hard. You said it right because you're never like I've seen people review this movie before several times, and it's like it's always like something. There's just not enough words to really describe how good this movie is. You really just have to watch it for yourself. I mean, that's really. I mean, it's a feeling, motherfucker. Like it's
yeah,
a feeling. It just it evokes something in you.
yeah,
It
dude.
really
And
is. I mean, I thought you go through the emotions. I mean, for me, I did get teary eyed at the very end when he was giving that speech about the Dark Knight because he could take it, and you're seeing Batman run away and being hunted. I don't know. I just liked it. I just thought it was cool. And then the whole,
yeah,
the Michael Caine speech, and then the Joker himself, and I don't know, man. It's one of the it's a very very unique and special movie that we all were lucky enough to have in the Batman series.
damn fucking straight. And I like how they did the Batcave too when they're in that lit room or whatever. And like, dude, that dog bite he had was fucking gnarly. By the way,
Yeah,
that was sick. I think my favorite look on
yeah,
Batman
but you never met
ever.
a postman, have you? They've got it worse.
That dog take a bite out of your ass. But my favorite look of Batman ever. I love the scene in the beginning when he goes to take the shards or whatever and cuts the van. I don't know what it is about his face that he makes. He's like, ah! He like goes to do that and is like trying
Yeah,
to cut his way into the
he looked
van.
like Jeff
That
Goldblum taking a shit.
dude, Batman has never looked
I don't know
cooler than
why.
he looked at that
He did
moment
look
to me.
cool though. Yeah, it
Yeah.
did. But I don't. I think that those lights were a little bit bright too, because you kind of saw like how dorky he looked, because the lights, the way that they were like bright and they were shining directly on him. I mean, it's kind of what Ben Affleck said. He's like, hey, Batman looks really cool if it's shot right and it's in the dark and whatever. But he said his
Yeah.
kid wanted Ben Affleck to dress up as Batman for his birthday, and he's like, it doesn't look so good under like bright like fucking sunlight. Like you're out there in the yard like dressed as Batman. It doesn't look so good.
Drinking a fucking Coors Light.
Like a Fanta or something. But yeah,
Uh,
it's still, I mean, dude, it's an amazing fucking movie. There's no doubt. And
yeah.
I mean, I think
And
generally speaking, everybody can say yes.
yeah, and like Jay said, if you want our thoughts on every little moment in that, there is a commentary on the Patreon.
That's true. Yeah,
And
we
that's
can go
just the
through that.
$5 tier. So that's you get like 70 commentaries. But we just did Scary Movie 2 the other night. But yeah, so all right, let's go to the super chats before we take a quick break and we come back and we do the Dark Knight Rises.
Okay, let's go. That's right.
It's not that but it's a little
Right.
That's me when I'm
What does it
constipated
mean?
in the bathroom.
Arby's. What does it mean? It's like, we've got the meats. By the way, I found out something really interesting about the Arby's. You know that we've got the meats. That's Ving Rhames, dude.
Oh, I didn't know that shit. I thought it was the Bob's
No,
Burgers
because I
guy.
looked it up because I was watching Baby Boy and Ving Rhames is in that, and I looked at Ving Rhames because I was just interested to see where he studied or how he became an actor. Apparently, they said that after like in 2013 or whatever it was after that, he's best known also as the voice for Arby's. We've got the meats.
That's
It's
fucking
Ving
crazy,
fucking
man.
Rhames, dude.
It's like, you think about going to Burger King?
Yeah.
Fuck
I mean, if you listen to it, dude, it's like it does sound me. He's like, we've got the meats. Fuck
That's
y'all.
crazy. That's great. I think they got the guy from Bob's Burger to do some of those too. But anyways, let's get to these super chats for the break. Dirk Diggler, you got a big dick, man. He says the best on-screen Batman iteration is Batman the Animated Series. I love it.
I mean, I can't
I'm not
argue
ready
with
to
it.
go
I mean,
that
Kevin
far.
Conroy is the iconic voice of Batman for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
but I mean, on screen, like in what, like, are you saying the best? Because I mean, Ben Affleck is the bomb, not only in Phantoms, but in Batman versus Superman. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's cool. You like it that much. I love it too. I wouldn't say that. I would not say what you said, but I would say I like it.
I'd love, dude, but Kevin Conroy is iconic as the voice of Batman.
Yeah.
And then also, I mean, you could also say Mark
Hamill's
Hamill
the Joker.
Mark Hamill's the Joker. So yeah.
Some people are like, Mark Hamill needs to play the Joker. I'm like, no, I'm good.
I don't really
I'm
know.
good.
He's either going to be Luke Skywalker or Cockknocker.
Yeah, that's like saying, hey,
like back.
Roger Jackson should be Ghostface.
Hey guys,
I don't think you would enjoy that.
Favor. Watch The Flash, the early 90s, The Flash, and watched The Trickster. He played a character kind of like the Joker called The Trickster, and it was fucking terrible.
Andrew Graziosa, thanks, buddy. He says, hey guys, hope you're well. What are your thoughts on Michael Keaton potentially replacing Ben Affleck in the DCEU Justice League 2? Don't mind that it's Michael Keaton that's going to be replacing him. Do mind that this is just Warner Brothers' way of just sticking it up the Snyder Cut League's fucking asshole just because they hate it so much.
Yeah, it's like saying "fuck you." We don't like you as fans, and we're gonna fist your asshole, but we're gonna put balm on it.
Yeah,
like after we'll put Neosporin on the rip that we caused in your anus.
No dudes in the Justice League, by the way. No dudes.
Yeah, dude. All right. First off, all right. So yeah, the main. You know what? I don't want to get into it because I'm getting too fucking mad because the woke poly. I don't want to do that. But my point being, Michael Keaton. I don't know if he's gonna. I mean, first off, Ben Affleck wasn't going to come back either way. Like he wasn't. I mean, especially not with Snyder being off the project. So I mean, we had to have somebody. If it's going to be Michael Keaton, I'm all right with that. What I don't like is the Warner Brothers. You don't give us any fucking backup for what you did to Henry Cavill. You're just a dickhead to him, and we don't get us. I mean, who's going to be our Superman now? Like Tyler Hoechlin? I mean, I don't mind Tyler Hoechlin, or is it Hoechlin? I don't know, but dude, I don't know. Like, I mean, Warner Brothers have really fucked the pooch on like the whole their DCEU. They had a perfect guy. They had a perfect story. They had a perfect cast. What the fuck are you doing? Like,
and if you think Michael Keaton coming back to play Batman again, oh my God, what are we gonna do with it? It's gonna be amazing. Let's have him make cameo appearances in Batgirl.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean,
worst fucking thing you could have done.
There's rumors that he might be in a Batman Beyond, but again, Batman Beyond takes place in the future. It has nothing to do with the DCEU as far as like a current Batman. I mean, so they don't really. I mean, he's not really replacing Ben Affleck. He's just, you know what I feel like he is. I feel like he's a bookmark until they figure out what the fuck they're gonna do.
Yeah, maybe. Eduardo Santiago, thanks, buddy. He says, what makes Dark Knight an almost perfect film is the fact that Bruce and Harvey didn't have a past relationship. All they needed was a line from Bruce. Hey, Harv, been a while.
Yeah.
Bruce and Harvey.
They have Harvey Dent.
They did have like they met.
Well,
there,
no, I think he means like back in the in the comic books they had a relationship. They had like a long working kind of relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, they had worked together. I mean, because the thing about it is,
I see what he's saying. Like,
because the thing about it again, that's where I feel like the tack on should happen, because it's like they could have built up the relationship between Bruce Wayne and Harvey Dent. I mean, they do become friends or at least respect one another.
Oh, now I get it. I was thinking Batman and Harvey because they did kind of have a relationship. You mean Bruce and Harvey? Now I get what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, because it's the same thing. Honestly, it's the same thing with Penguin. But either way.
Yeah. I see what you're saying, man. Ben Wolf, thanks, buddy. He says, imagine if Christopher Nolan directed a horror movie. I would watch that. That's definitely going to go to A24.
Memento is almost there. I mean, it's not a horror movie, but it feels kind of weird and freaky.
That's definitely an A24 thing for sure. Hey, Davis, thanks, buddy. Jay and I were right. Mike, I'm stroking out. Mike, yeah, Jay and I were right. Mike Pattinson.
Mike Pattinson,
best Batman. I think he means Jay and I were right. Robert Pattinson was the best Batman. I guess he's seen the Batman. You're seeing it tomorrow. I'm not seeing it till fucking Friday.
I'm excited. I'm all hyped up. I'm gonna put like some fucking fins on my Hyundai Elantra that's black and try to drive it there. No, no, I'm excited. Yeah,
you fucking text me. I don't want to talk to you until
I'm gonna tell you everything. I'm gonna tell you all the spoilers.
I'm gonna turn off my phone.
Robert Pattinson. Yeah, we did say that. I think that Robert Pattinson has the capability of being, the movie looks so incredibly good that in that environment, like he could honestly wind up being the best Batman ever. Like he really could. And me and Courtney, we've said that before. I mean, Courtney literally, I went with Courtney because you don't let a friend gamble alone. And Courtney's like, the Batman's going to be the best Batman movie of all time. I was like, I'll come up on this hill with you and I will die with you.
Jonathan, man, thanks, buddy. He says, do you guys drink frozen margaritas? I used to, but then I discovered that shit that they put in it gives me tum-tum aches. I can't even have regular soda anymore. There's something about that, like, processed sugar going right into my gullet that fucks me up, dude. I start farting and sweating.
Yeah, any mixed drink gives me diarrhea. Like, gives me the hot snakes. I can't do it.
And have you ever seen the jugs of shit they put in that, like, Mexican restaurants?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like you can clean your fucking car with that.
Well, it looks like the shit that they pump into the water system in Batman Begins. They just pour it in there. Like, it's just fucking a shit ton of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's good. I mean, I know a lot of people that like frozen margaritas. Like, they have those margarita Thursdays or whatever.
Yeah,
That's
I
all they
like
get is
them.
frozen margaritas.
I like them, but they fucked my stomach up, so I had to stop. Jerry Ramey, thanks, buddy. He says, how would Joker have been caught, then turned Dent into hang on. How would Joker have been caught, then turned Dent into Two-Face in The Dark Knight Rises?
Okay, well that's okay. Okay, that
Dent became hang on, is that Dent became Two-Face before Joker was caught,
you're right.
and before Ledger died in real life. Just
Yeah,
curious.
no. Okay, so what happened? What I was saying is in the comic book history, yes, Dent becomes Two-Face well before the or during Joker doesn't do it. Obviously, Joker's not responsible for Harvey Dent turning into Two-Face. The writer of Batman Begins, David Goyer, had said that he wanted to do a two-parter with Joker and Harvey Dent. So he wanted to have Joker be the main, what you saw in Dark Knight, right? And then in the Dark Knight Rises, or the third Dark Knight, Harvey Dent was going to be prosecuting Joker, and then Joker was going to throw the acid onto Harvey Dent's face.
Yeah, that would
and
be
then
cool.
it was going to be the whole thing with Harvey Dent. And I think, I mean, he could have had, that's where you could have got the classic. I was trying to think about how they could do that. Look, what if Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker had that little flower that Joker's known for and squirted the acid on his face?
That would have been badass. Yeah, I'd like that a lot, man. Now I see what you mean, though, about all that. Hey, Davis, thanks, buddy. He says Bale was outperformed by every single villain, in my opinion. I'm not ready. Like, I'd like Cillian Murphy, but I'm not ready to put him above Bale. I thought Bale's my favorite Bruce Wayne. So, but as Batman himself, I mean, I don't think Ra's al Ghul is basically just
Liam Neeson. I think Liam
silently.
Neeson. I mean, it's Liam fucking Neeson. I mean, it's hard not to say he outperforms anybody. He outperformed his mom when she gave birth to him.
But he was kind of just Liam Neeson with a whisper.
I don't know. Yeah, but Leo. I mean, I don't know. Look, I'm not a Christian Bale fan of Batman. I'm not. I think Christian Bale is an incredible actor. He's an amazing, versatile actor, and he really has done incredible roles. But I am just not a fanboy of Christian Bale as Batman. I'm just not.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, some people confuse the movie with the performance. Like they think you don't think Christian Bale's the best? Are you serious?
I think Christian Bale's an amazing actor.
Yeah, like that's the thing. They call me Stamps. Thanks, buddy. He says I think Two-Face, Poison Ivy, Bane, and Mr. Freeze are all in desperate need of another chance for a proper depiction in live action. I think you're fucking right, my friend.
I agree, and I like that. And I moved to tickle your butt with a feather because I agree with what you said, and I only do it because I want to be your friend. Yes, because Poison Ivy is also another one. Yeah, they really mishandled that character. Oh my god, the Uma Thurman, and she's hot as fuck, and they mishandled that. They mishandled. I mean, how are you going to get an actress that plays Kill Bill and be that terrible with her? Bane is another. Yeah, I 100% agree with you, dude. Even because I have problems with the Bane character, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about there. I think of all those though, Two-Face, Poison Ivy, Bane, Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze has been
he got the worst one
more than anybody else.
You know what? Honestly, if you guys get a chance to check this out, there's an animated series called I don't remember if it's called Heart as Ice or Frozen Heart or something, that they do it's in the Kevin Conroy Batman animated movie, and they do an actual true to comic version of Victor Freeze, and it's actually really, really well done. Really, really good. I can't remember that name. Heart of Ice, I think, or something like that, but it's really good.
You're as cold as ice.
You're a bit girl, and no one cares if life is frozen.
Jerry Raby says, if Reeves does Joker, how would you make him different? That's a good question, by the way, because it's been done so many times, and there's so many other Batmans.
That's why I hope he doesn't do it. I hope he doesn't
Batman
do it.
Villains.
I hope
he does it. Maybe like the fifth film or something.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. You need to let the Joker rest a little bit. Let his little grin have a moment of relaxation, because every time, and I'm not saying it's bad. I mean, obviously we wouldn't have got the Heath Ledger performance in The Dark Knight, but I feel like every writer or director always immediately goes to Joker as a fallback to a villain that Batman should fight. I'm like, dude, there's so many good ones that you guys just overlook. Black Mask, I mean, Deathstroke, I mean, even Deathshot. I mean, there's Victor Zsasz. There's so many fucking awesome villains. The Court of Owls. You don't have to only go to the Joker.
And now they're putting Jokers in CW. They're putting Jokers here, Jokers there. Like, let's pump the brakes on the whole thing, man. Next, you'll see a Joker movie. Oh, wait. Fuck, they did that. D. Mitch 14. Thanks, buddy. Only one can exist. Keaton's original Batman or Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. Which one?
You shut your fucking mouth.
Choose. Appreciate you, words. As the movies overall,
it's a
dark fucking thing.
to me.
Oh, God. That's a dark thing you do to me, man. I'm gonna have to betray my own childhood here and say that I'm gonna pick the Nolan films. I mean, there's
But
3
here,
of them
how
to
about, how
2
about I do
for
a fucking
1.
Back to the Future? If we didn't have the Tim Burton's Batman, we would have no Nolan's trilogy.
Maybe.
So I'm gonna say 1.21 gigawatts, bitch. Because you can't have one with the other. No, honestly, that's a tough question, dude.
That's a good
Because
question.
Batman '89 is iconic and classic for a reason. That suit is iconic. That symbol is iconic. But the Dark Knight is so sexy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. It's like
You
deciding about like, hey, I have my wife and I love her. I love my
Yeah.
wife. But this hot ass fucking bitch that looks like Amanda Seyfried is offering to suck my wiener.
Careful, honey.
What do I do? I'm gonna go with Amanda Seyfried. No, I gotta go. Honestly, I'll go.
You're
with
gonna
Batman.
be in trouble, motherfucker.
Well, I know she's listening. She's already will.
I know she's right.
No, I'm gonna
there.
go with Batman '89.
Yeah, I say this. You don't throw a Ferrari, away just because you really love your fucking Pontiac Silver.
Yeah, so that's
like,
I should have gone with the car analogy.
Yeah,
like it's like trouble. Yeah. Well, you know what happens? Hindsight's 2020. So I mean, I've already moved past that. Don't live in the past.
Hey Davis, I just read that. Oh no, I didn't. Hey Davis, thanks, buddy. He says, if Matt Reeves does a sequel, do you think he should attempt to put a Robin in it? Fuck no.
No,
Rob said he would do it, but he's got to be age 13 range. I just say stay the fuck away.
Look, and there's nothing wrong with Robin. There really isn't. I mean, I know that people love Robin and they think he's a great opposite of Batman because it shows more of a softer side to Batman because he has to, he sees himself in Robin and there's a lot of similarities there, and so Robin becomes his adopted son that he never had. But at the same time, I feel like it takes away from this. I just want to see a Batman movie. Like I don't really give a shit about all the extra, and Batman doesn't need Robin. He doesn't need to. Like he can whoop up on criminals' asses all day long without Robin being like, "Holy hole, Batman, you almost died. It's good thing that you had a batarang or some bullshit."
And by the way, I think that we're gonna get that with this one. From what I hear, like 90% of the movie is focused purely on Batman and the Batman movie.
Well,
so we might finally get that.
Look at it like this too. Matt Reeves is trying to tell a story of a Batman that just starts.
Yeah,
Robert Pattinson is like young, but Robert Pattinson is young. He's inexperienced. He's trying to figure out it on his own. And so you can't have Robin you know what you said? Oh, we'll wait till the 5th movie for a Joker. I wait till the 7th movie. You're gonna do a Matt Reeves. Wait till the 7th movie until you get a little bit more experience under your belt before a Robin. Because you can't. I mean, how are you gonna teach that? Look, at this point, Batman's a fucking Padawan. He's not a Jedi.
Yeah, I think that's just totally unnecessary to go there right now. Mark Dolman, thanks, buddy. He says, can we please give James Newton Howard some credit for his score with Zimmer on Begins and Dark Knight? He's always overlooked, but added so much to it. Hey, just like Junkie XL did on the Batman vs Superman soundtrack.
I don't who.
James Newton Howard did the work with Hans Zimmer on the soundtrack.
Oh, he did. Okay, yeah.
And Junkie XL did on Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
But that's two things too. Also, I want to mention that we give Nolan all the credit for this, but I think, without that perfect score from these gentlemen, to add the whole vibe of the movie and the cinematographer doing those amazing fucking cinematographies.
Yeah.
I don't think the movie would be what it was
to raise the child. It takes a village. So you obviously, obviously everybody's going to think Nolan and Bell and Heath Ledger. I mean, obviously it wouldn't be as successful and as amazing as it is without all, the help of all these different awesome people. You just can't remember all their names. Yeah, dude, Hans Zimmer also doesn't get the credit for the Man of Steel score either.
That's true. That's a great fucking track to work out to as well. Robert Goodwin, thanks, buddy. He says, hey guys, do you think we'll get a Clayface or Ra's al Ghul? And what is your favorite Batman movie line?
Well, as far as Clayface is a really good one too, but I don't think I think it'll be a little bit of time before you see a Clayface on screen. An actual another version of Ra's al Ghul, I'd be okay with that. I think you could do a decent. I mean, Liam Neeson just nailed it though, so it'd be really hard to do it. But I feel like you're gonna get a Ra's al Ghul before you get a Clayface. Because here's the thing about Clayface: when you get into a Clayface situation, it really at that point becomes a very much superhero type of movie. Because Clayface is literally like a mutant. Like he was an actor and all that, he had an accident. Now he's got he can morph into any fucking thing he wants. And he really just looks like a big giant turd. If he's not, he's like a big walking, talking, like gingerbread man that's melting. But I like Clayface.
Yeah.
But best Batman line, that's a good one. I mean, what was your Clayface or Ra's al
First,
Ghul?
I want to give a shout out real quick though to fake ass Ra's al Ghul, where he's like, "For suffering and injustice."
Oh, yeah, like you want to be a part of the big shuttle.
You're not Ra's al Ghul. I watched him die.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with the maybe a funnier side. I'm gonna go with you want to get nuts. Let's get nuts. I'm gonna go with that one. Although
Well, I'll have to go the other extreme. Then it's gonna be that line that Batman's delivering to Gary Oldman at the end of The Dark Knight. He was like, "You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become a villain." And I know that technically Harvey Dent said that, but I think it's a lot more gravitas when Batman says it, and then he actually does it.
Yeah.
I mean, it also could be Batman because it's like, it's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me. And she's like, Bruce? He's like, yeah, bitch. Oh, you think your boyfriend looked badass? And he jumped off. But yeah.
Mercurio 80, thank you so much, buddy. Really appreciate that. That's a sweet super chat. Says, sorry I'm late. I was just playing sorry I'm late. I was just playing Watch Dogs Legion and lost track of time. P.S. Mike sucks. J rules. LOL. Well, fuck you, Mercurio.
Thank you, Mercurio. I really appreciate you. Watch Dogs is so good, and I'm only going to say that because you said that. I've not actually. I haven't played. I played the first Watch Dogs, and I never got past the first mission because I don't know. I stopped playing it. But hey, it's nice to have you here, Mercurio. You always say Mercurio, but I don't know why I always think of Mercutio from Romeo and Juliet. Mercutio. You've made lumps meat of me.
Well, after what he just said, I call him Meducio. But anyways,
that's going to be a new Disney villain.
Meducio. I got a douche in my hole.
Sounds like a Harry Potter villain.
Says, I know Ra's al Ghul was in Batman Begins, but I would love the Ra's al Ghul in Batman the animated series. That is the one I want in the movies.
Well, if you get the Ra's al Ghul from the one in the Batman animated series, I like him too, but he kind of looks like an evil Doctor Strange because he's got the same white here, and then he's got the weird hair, and then he's wearing a cape, and then he stays immortal because he goes into that fucking rejuvenation pit or whatever they call it. I can't remember. So it really is a huge stretch of the imagination. Ra's al Ghul kind of says it though. He's like, Ra's al Ghul could be immortal. And what he was saying was like he was kind of taking the comic book idea of the action in the comic books. Ra's al Ghul is immortal, so he just kind of used it in the way that I don't know in the real world setting. Ra's al Ghul could be anybody.
Hey, when I take a bath and use like the little bath bombs and stuff and all the salts and all the fancy shit, you probably do feel like you're fucking immortal coming out of that bitch. Yeah, but then you slip and break your fucking hip.
You feel like a fat Greek god.
Yeah, you make bubbles with your farts.
You like balance your wine bottle on your belly, and you're like,
like fat.
You're like James or John Goodman in there.
Thank you, Patricia Greger. We love you too. We love you very much, deep, dark into the night, and always in the day as well. For suffering and injustice.
Dude, I swear to God, and I like that guy too. That guy, but that guy, the way he delivered that line was fucking comical. For suffering and injustice.
And injustice. Yeah, that's fucking good. All right, man. You want to tinkle first? You want me to tinkle first? You want to play rock?
I'll tinkle first. I gotta go bad, really, really bad.
Okay.
All right, go squeeze out a turd too. All right,
squeeze one out. Back. It's a Lazarus Pit. Yeah, thanks, guys. There's a lot of people that said Lazarus Pit. It sounds like a fucking awesome place to have concerts. Welcome to the Lazarus Pit. Good night. Solomon Grundy. Yeah, Solomon Grundy's another one. That just sounds like, hey, dude, I just took a bad Solomon Grundy in the bathroom. Don't go in there for like 20 to 30 minutes, man. Took me a Solomon Grundy and she smelled it and left. Oh, shit. I can't wait to talk about The Dark Knight Rises either, you guys, because, man, there is some weird shit in that movie. Like, they did some weird shit. It's like some super weird shit in that movie that I can't wait to get into. D Mitch, I'm actually not a Coheed and Cambria fan, man. I don't like his voice. I know lots of people that are like, you love this kind of music, you'll love them. And I bought their CD from Kmart once. I paid like $15.88 for that shit back when you had to pay for fucking music, and got it in the car and listened to it and went through the whole goddamn thing. And I thought, I can't fucking do it, man. I can't fucking do it. And I was broke at the time. So back then, you bought a fucking CD. Like, even if you hated it, you listened to that shit. Like, you fucking learned to love that shit. You spent $15.88 on it as a teenager in the 90s, early 2000s. You were going to do it. and I just could not do it. I hated it so much. His voice is just like glass in my ears. And I know that I'm in the minority on that. People love him, but I tried to take that shit back. Opened. I was like, "Hey, can I return this?" And she was like, "It's open. You can't return it once it's open." She's like, "Does it not work?" And I was like, "Nope. It must be scratched or something." And she was like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "Yeah, that's it. It's totally scratchy. It won't play." And she was like, "Okay." I was like, "So you'll give me back my 1588?" And she was like, "No, you can go back and just grab another one." And I was like, "Oh, good. Then I can listen to my Coheed and Cambria album." And just like walked back and just grabbed another one. And yeah, that used to suck, man. I listened to some shitty fucking music just because I bought the CD and refused to pretend I didn't like it because I would have been too disappointed. Some bad music. And then you learn to love it, and then people think you have terrible taste in music. You know what I mean? It's like, no, you don't understand. I'm just broke. And this is the only CD I have right now. This is like before Napster and shit, too. Napster made us all fucking critics, man. You're like, oh, fuck this. I don't need that shit. I'll just download another one. Back in the day, that's probably how like Crazy Town happened, or like, Sugar Mark McGrath. Like, we just had to fucking like it. We had no goddamn choice, Yeah, now you just stream music, man. It's fucking easy. The bands get fucked over. They get fucked over bad. They want their 1588 a goddamn record. But to be fair, it kind of works out because anybody can put music on Spotify. So if your shit's good, it'll get played. You don't have to have some crusty old white dude at Tower Records or wherever the fuck say that you look like Billie Eilish. So guess what? We're going to let people hear you. Anybody will listen to you now if it's good. I never had that problem because I always sang like a fucking dying cow. But, what are you going to do? They call me Stamps. Thanks, buddy. He says, if they made a Batman trilogy and just embraced the fantastical comic book aspect of Batman, which villains would you want to see in it? Do you mean Batman Forever? Do you mean Batman and Robin? Because they did that, and I can never see them doing that again. But, none, because it just feels like anything they do that to, they're just going to blow its ass out, And we're not going to be able to talk about one shitty Two-Face without talking about fucking starter sweatpants, fucking leopard print, goddamn Tommy Lee Jones Two-Face from Batman Forever with his Ivan Ooze looking fucking face makeup. So I gotta say none, Anthony. I don't want them to ever do that again. The comic book version of the Wiley comic book film version of Batman, that they had its day. They had 2 fucking days, as a matter of fact. They had 2 goddamn days, and they were the darkest days of the world. Merduccio 80 says, thanks for the new name, Mike. LOL. By the way, you don't suck much. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that.
Hey, Mike.
I do. Hey, what?
I was telling, dude, what about this? What if they'd cast like a young Al Pacino as Two-Face, and then he'd be like, I'm a fan of man. And then when he flipped the coin, he'd go, Hiawatha, or something like Hyuga.
Somebody better give me my Dunkachino. Huatha. Yeah, that'd be fucking great, dude. All right, I'll be right back.
All right. Yeah, I don't want the full screen. Fuck. Now we all together. Oh, there we go. That just turned me on. By the way, the super chats, guys, I appreciate it. I don't know what Mike read, so I can't read them because I don't know where he left off. Got a great ass. You know what? Al Pacino, I swear to God, Al Pacino in The Devil's Advocate talks like my version of Loomis in a lot of the skits. He's like, look, but don't touch. Touch, but don't taste. Taste, but don't swallow. And while you're jumping from one foot to the next, he's laughing his sick fucking ass off. Worship that? Never. He's a sadist. Tomo Agato says, I see your room's feeling a bit Blue Jay. Yeah, it is. Blue Jay. It is. I know. I've switched the colors before, but I think I had it on red before. It makes me angry, so I don't like that one. DM Mitch or D Mitch 14 says, Jay, are you going to play Elden Ring? I saw that. It looks really interesting. I read the recap on it. Is it one of those games that like is it an RPG where you get to choose your own path and there's consequences for your actions, or is it just like more of like Dark Souls or something, because I get my ass kicked on that. So if it's like that, I can't play it because I'm terrible at it. Tomo got who says red makes you look like you're in the red district. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's been all you can eat buffet at the red light district in Budapest. It's not good. Hey, Egg Shin says hello. Church says I miss your sweet face. I miss you, Church, every fucking day, especially when I touch my wiener. I miss you. Tomoga, it's a Souls game. You make your character pick a class, get your ass rammed. Well, that's not a good. That sounds like jail. That sounds like the process of going through jail. Oh, it's a Souls game. Ooh, yeah, I'm not. I can't do that. Thank you for the heads up on that, Gotham Gamer, because I really thought it was going to be something like Dragon Age or something. Because I mean, I would love to play like a game like that, but AJ, JT Customs, AJ, I haven't seen Scream yet, which sucks, but I know it's on digital right now. But I want to see Scream in theaters. But it's also the Batman comes out this month. Well, which one do I see? You see the Batman. God damn it! You don't go and play that game. Don't you do that to yourself? You can watch Scream anytime you like on your home entertainment system. Okay, you go see the Batman with a crowd that loves and appreciates what you're watching. You don't do that. Berto 75 says just go back to Skyrim. Yeah, I probably will. I mean, in the face of Dark Souls, I'll definitely take, put the training wheels back on my bike. And you know what? It's really I've watched the storyline unfold, like as far as or the story for Dark Souls. I watched some gamers that are way more talented than I am play through the entire campaign. I've watched Dark Souls 2. It looks awesome. I can't play it personally. By the way, I think what do you guys think? Do you think that a Dark Souls movie could happen if you got like a really good director like Sam Raimi? Like that could play the horror element pretty well, but then also put in a little bit of lightheartedness. I don't know. Connor Clary says Batman in a sold out opening weekend crowd is awesome. I'm hoping for an awesome crowd, but I'm not holding out a lot of hope because I live in a cracked in of a city. So, Tomo says Dark Souls movie would just be a death montages. Yeah, that would be that wouldn't be a very good movie now, would it? Danny Rolling Ghostface. I appreciate your name and your assessment. Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 are the shit. And you used the emoji of poop, and I liked it. I hope you meant like they're the shit, not like they're shit. Because I think that they're both really, really good, amazingly good. And that's where I think that Disney / Lucasfilms or whatever, they need to move in that direction. Instead of trying to, do a new sequel to Star Wars, they need to go back and do like Knights of the Old Republic. That would be fucking insanely good. Like that's what they need to do. But of course, they won't. Haddonfield 88, bro. He says, I'm hearing rumblings of China invading Taiwan. Should we nuke those bug people? I say yes. Holy fuck. I am not going to comment on that. I think that look, there's a lot of shit going on right now in the world and it all sucks, but I definitely don't think that we should nuke anybody because it's a mutually assured destruction. If a nuke breaks out, a nuclear warhead is launched anywhere against any country, we's fucked. All right, we're talking about like fucked. So I hope that doesn't happen. Kin 13 says, curious if it makes No Way Home money. What does? You're talking about the Batman? It's hard to say. I don't think it's going to make the same amount of money that Spider-Man did, just because of what they were banking that success on. I mean, they brought back Toby. I'm sorry if you guys haven't seen this, but it's pretty much known now. Maguire and Garfield, and playing on that nostalgia from the previous Spider-Man movies. I don't think the Batman's going to make that kind of money. I think it's going to make really good money though. 100%. It's almost we'll be in Fallout country, yeah. And we don't have any power armor, so that's just not even invented yet. Aren't they making? Isn't there a Fallout movie? Dude, Anthony Lukic, I said the same thing. Yes, Fallout won't be a game no more, and no power armor. Dude, I think the same thing. But yeah, aren't they doing a Fallout? Like it's either a movie or a TV series or something like that. And by the way, I just renewed my Paramount Plus subscription, and I saw that the Halo thing. I'm excited about that. I'm also going to watch Star Trek Picard maybe tonight. The new season, excuse me, premieres at midnight. I wasn't a huge fan of the first season. It's not terrible, but it's not really good, and I don't like Picard being like basically broken down and yelled at for every fucking thing he did in the past, like that saved humanity. I don't like that part, but I mean, I hope that. I don't know. We'll see. I had a train of thought and then I literally just forgot about it. I think I was somehow. Oh yeah, Star Trek Picard. Berto75 J, watch Legend of the Vox Machina. Yes, from Critical Role. I'm so far behind on that. I know it's on Amazon. By the way, if you guys don't know, there's a group they're called Critical Role. They're a bunch of voice actors, a bunch of nerdy ass voice actors that get together and play D&D, and they made a show called Critical Role, and it got so huge and popular that they now have an animated series on Amazon Prime. But I will get around to that. Heather Gorham says, "Where's Mike?" He's right there.
Yeah,
calm the fuck down.
Sorry about that, you guys. So I told you we went to buy a car at like 5 today, so I haven't seen the kids, so I had to say goodnight to the kids real quick.
I thought you said, yeah, we bought a car, and I just found out it doesn't have an engine. Like they just delivered it.
And I bought a Yabba Dabba Doer.
Yeah, you gotta fucking use your feet. We'll
get to these last super chats, and
I haven't got to any. Because I didn't know where you left off or anything.
Okay, so. Yeah, no, I figured, yeah. And then we'll do the Dark Knight Rises. A Davis, thanks, buddy. Says the Batman, Shutter Island, Arkham Asylum. Mm-hmm. I've never seen Shutter Island.
So you never seen that? That's a good fucking movie. You need to watch that. That's some good shit.
Yeah, man. Scorsese's sort of horror film. It's amazing. I haven't watched that.
It's really good. It's really good.
Robert Goodwin, thanks, buddy. Says, what is your favorite song? Dream Warriors, Man Behind the Mask, or Party Man by Prince? Oh, that's tough, dude.
I'm gonna go with Dream Warriors.
Party Man.
No, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good question though. But
black and white, red and green. That's true. If I were running on a political ticket, I probably would use Party Man.
Oh my god,
Dream Warriors. Dude, but if I were running for president, like I would, Party Man is where it's at.
So someone should do that shit. Heather said, "I am calm." Sounds like Batman. I am calm. Oh shit. Yeah.
I want to be on the $1 bill.
But okay, Dark Knight Rises, man. This is funny as shit because I think this was the first big movie that Jay and I ever did with the channel.
Oh yeah,
like the first one that had like extreme build up, and we did like updates and shit about, and then
saw
it, and we fought the whole way of fucking home in the car about it.
I remember
we argued.
Yeah, well, the main point of contention for that movie was the way they ended it with Joseph Gordon-Levitt being Robin, and. Watching it now, I still have an issue with that. Like, I like Joseph Gordon-Levitt is a fine actor, and he looks like he smells like Jupe, which is a great cologne. But at the same time, I'm like, either Bruce Wayne is Batman, or don't you call my fucking phone again? And like, I would have been fine with if it had left off where like, all right, you know what happens? Robin takes over for a little while, and then Christian Bale was taking a little time out in Italy to push his dick up in Catwoman, and then Daddy's coming home. And when Daddy gets home, he's like, Daddy's taking his cave back now.
I'm coming home.
Yeah, I didn't like that part. Like, that's one of the main contentions that we had a fight about because the whole Joseph Gordon-Levitt segue with Robin. And again, we didn't argue about this, but we agreed in The Dark Knight, Two-Face was kind of tacked on. Joseph Gordon-Levitt served a purpose here. I feel like the idea of giving him the name Robin tack that shit on just because the fans expected Robin to be in this movie.
Yeah. Well, and here's the way I saw it. Like this time when I watched it, I'm shocked as shit, man. In the world that we live in, with fans just demanding shit and really wanting it, like I do sometimes when I wake up in the morning.
Yeah. And an ego.
I'm shocked, man, that we never saw any version of that continuation. Maybe it was because it was before like the real universe building went on with Marvel and stuff like that. I'm not sure where they were at in their stage. I'm sure it had already started, but it wasn't as foundationalized as it has been now. I'm shocked that we never got a follow-up, man. It did leave itself. Like, I didn't like the idea of him becoming Batman or whatever, but you could have really set that up for Batman Beyond if you
Well, what I think what happened was there's two things is that as far as like a continuation of this movie is the reason why that happened. And I looked all this shit up because I was looking up whether or not Nolan had plans for Heath Ledger, if he hadn't died, to be in this movie. The reality of it is Nolan did not want to do Dark Knight Rises. He did not want to come back for a third movie at all. It took years. That's why if you look at the success of Dark Knight, and this is all like, you guys can look this up. Dark Knight came out in 2007. This movie came out in 2012. I think it was 2012 or right, or 2013. I think it was 2012. Right. By the way, it was a while after the hugely successful Dark Knight, and Nolan didn't want to come back. It wasn't until after he had spent a lot of time with David Goyer, the writer of the Batman Begins, a Dark Knight, that he was like, all right, well, we came up with something now that I can do that I think is a good idea. Because he was just like, hey, I made 2 really good Batman movies. I don't need to fucking do any more. So I think the reason why he didn't do a continuation is because there was no reason to do it. He barely wanted to come back and do this movie. But
I'm shocked they didn't have somebody else come in and like use that base to do it. Like, I don't know.
I think the idea, they set a nice little egg there, but at the same time, if you let another creative artist come in, or a creative personality come in and take what they've established, they could butt fuck that to eternity. I mean, look what Joss Whedon did to Zack Snyder's script.
Yeah, but also you got to look at Empire Strikes Back. You know what I mean?
No, I know they had, but Paul Kirshner did that. He directed it, but the script was already laid out by Lucas.
Well, yeah, they could do the script. If he didn't want to direct it, they could do the script. They already have the cinematography down. You have you have the whole feel down, and then someone come out and then tell a story. It could have been okay.
Well, you know what? I think what they did was, and the Dark Knight Rises is very much. I don't know if it's very much based on I don't know if you guys have, if you're a huge comic book person or whatever. No Man's Land, which was a story arc in the Batman comic books. They're cut off. And they got to like have this guerrilla type warfare to take the city back. It's very, very much like exactly what you got on screen. So I'm pretty sure Goyer was reading those graphic novels or those comic books and getting ideas for that. But I think that ultimately I think we're just lucky that Nolan even decided to sign up to do the directing on this. And also I will say the other thing about, and again, I don't dislike Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Don't get me wrong. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is an amazing fucking actor. I do like Joseph Gordon-Levitt a lot. And I think that if they just kept him as a young cop that was helping Batman out, I've been okay with it. The Robin part, and then him, getting the Batcave, that's when I was like, what the fuck is you doing? You just took a great relationship and you fucked me. Like, I feel like I was having a good time up to that. I don't even care if his name was Robin. I don't even care about that. It was when he took control. What they're doing, honest to God, it was so crazy because I was like, oh, that's what they're doing. There was a comic line called Nightfall in the Batman comic books in the early 90s, where Bane is introduced and he breaks Batman's back. So while Batman is healing, he introduced John Paul. I can't remember his last name, but a new Batman that takes over for him while he's healing, and he becomes like a Punisher type Batman. He comes with a new suit, and he wants to, Bruce Wayne wanted to maintain Batman. So he gets this guy that can fight and all this shit, John Paul, and John Paul becomes an aggressive asshole. And then John Paul doesn't want to give up the fucking the mantle when Bruce Wayne comes back, and they have this whole fight. So I was like, well, that's what they're doing. Well, at least they borrowed from that idea. But no, man, Robin taking over as Batman, suck a cock from an acorn.
Let me ask you this though, real quick. What do you think about what if Nolan gets 2 more of his grandiose? So, by the way, I could give a shit less about Tenet. Looks boring.
I've never seen it.
But like, yeah, because you imagine a world where you thought, hey, Christopher Nolan's going to make like a 3-hour epic movie and you're not going to have any interest in watching it. Like, that's what happens. It's shocking. But no, imagine this. Imagine if Nolan gets a couple movies in and he goes, you know what? the best thing I ever did was what I did with Batman. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna make that sequel. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna make a Nightwing, or like whether it's a Nightwing or it's a Batman Beyond. I'm gonna bring Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who's still in great shape, still young, and I'm gonna focus on that storyline, and then maybe even bring back Bruce to lead him along in the Batman Beyond kind of way. Like, would you be into that?
Nah, I wouldn't, because I think there are certain characters in comic books that are irreplaceable. Clark Kent is not going to be replaced by somebody else taking up the mantle of Superman. Bruce Wayne is not going to be replaced by somebody else taking up the mantle of Batman. Peter Parker is never going to be. These are iconic, established characters that they pay money to go see. They want to see that live action representation of those people they read in the funny pages on the big screen. So when you try to add in like, oh, well, they're dressed up as Batman. It's like, well, this motherfucker could be a Comic-Con goer. Like, it's not Batman. It's not, because Bruce Wayne is always going to be Batman. You know,
no, I agree with that. But what if they do Nightwing?
Okay, well, here's what I would do Nightwing. So if Christopher Nolan came back, have Robin, fine. He's doing the Batman thing for a little while. Bruce Wayne finally comes back and says, "Hey, Daddy's home. Okay, you don't have to worry anymore. So you need to pack it up, Junior." And then he's like, "Well, I've been doing it all on my own." He's like, "Don't get sassy with me, or I'll bitch slap you back to the police force." and then they have this argument, and then you make the Nightwing thing where he goes out on his own, and then you tell two different parallel stories.
Yeah.
That's fine, as long as he's not trying to be Batman anymore. That's what I'm saying. But
yeah,
I don't.
No, that's what you're saying. But we went off on a tangent there. But I that's just when I see the ending now, I have a completely different version of it. I'm like, I can't believe that they didn't do something with that. But what I did love about the ending, since we're starting backwards, I guess here.
Yeah.
What I really do love about the ending, man, two of the best scenes in this entire movie, man, were when Bruce finally finds out that Alfred fucked him over and took that note that Rachel had sent.
Yeah, I was sad. That was where I know it was a great scene. It was acted incredibly well between Michael Caine and Christian Bale, but I was fucking sad as shit, dude. I was like, don't say goodbye, Alfred. Don't say goodbye, Alfred.
Dude, it felt like the actors
said goodbye, Alfred. I was like, don't you say that.
It felt like the actors were actually crying. Like he's like, I know what it means. I mean, I have to take that boy that I've kept years. I don't know why I sound like Gump. I'll take that fucking boy.
I'll take your hatred, Jenny.
No, don't you take this boy that I've been taking care of.
I may not be a smart man, but I heard you cry in this mansion.
God damn it, Bobby.
That was the main thing. He's like, that's the main thing. He was like,
King of the Hill.
He goes, because I loved it the first time I heard your echoes as a baby in this. I was like, dude, that scene's so painful to watch, because it was like, fuck.
Yeah. And it wasn't just that scene too. I think this was actually, as great as he was in The Dark Knight, I think that this was Michael Caine's best performance as
it totally was. And it sucked that he was only really in it for, I mean, he was in it for a while, but this is a long ass movie.
Yeah.
But they cut him out of the last, fucking 50 minutes.
Yeah, they did. But when he has that scene where he's like, oh, I had this dream, he was like that. And it basically explained the end of the movie.
That was great. Yeah, that was great.
He was like, I was hoping that you would never come back, because I wanted you to have a happy life. And I had this dream that I always go here and have my alcohol beverage. And which was one of us. I have a tall boy and I sit in the
I feel like Mike was my Alfred. Mike was like, I just had this dream. I was like, you leave the channel and I don't see you for a long time, but then I go to the Mexican restaurant in your town, and I see you sitting there by yourself, and I know you've made it. We don't say anything to each other, we just leave.
Yeah. But the fact that that is what I loved about the ending. Now, at first I hated it, because I was like, that's not definitive. This is the last Nolan Batman. What the fuck? And I kind of hated it. But watching it now as where he looks at it, like, it's so sweet, dude, that Bruce actually makes it a point to go to the place that he said he would do that out, and he fulfills that dream for him, and he's just smiling and he's happy with Catwoman, and he looks at him and almost like toasts him. And when Michael Caine gets up to walk away, he starts like fucking shivering, like he's gonna cry. Man, that was beautiful. Like, I hated it at first because it was too sudden and too quick, and I'm like, it's over, what the fuck?
You know what?
But man, it lasted the test of time.
I know why they had to put the additional scene in there with Levitt discovering the Batcave, and then obviously somebody repaired the Bat's signal, because Gordon finds it, and he's like, oh, he's back. Because obviously Batman can't die. I mean, the whole idea in the Nolan trilogy was that Batman's a symbol, and then anybody can be Batman. So I understand what they were going for. I understand what they were going for. But I honestly think that if they just ended it where Batman saved the city and it galvanized the city into saving itself, like that was the goal anyway, and they just ended it where he was in the cafe in Italy, and they had cut the Gordon Levitt, the Robin finding all that shit out. I'd been like, you know what, that's fucking a perfect ending. That's a really good ending. Because you could leave it vague enough, like, is he really going to be gone though? Could really Bruce Wayne stay away? Probably not. So he'll be back.
Yeah. About one more thing about the Dark Knight that we forgot to mention, dude. Bruce Wayne is such a dick in that scene. He's like, no, you don't understand. One fundraiser with my pals, and you'll never need another cent. But
like
then
Donald
when
Trump.
but when he flies in with the helicopter, he's like, you mean the guy from the cheesy commercials? He's like, I believe in Harvey Dent. He goes, nice slogan, Harvey. Like that is your friend when like you're on a date with a girl that you really like, and he shows up and he just makes fun of you to your face, like nice slogan, Harvey.
It's like, he's like, and then you lean over and tell your girlfriend's like, we've not really been friends for a while. Friends is more of just like a title thing. Okay. Well, also about the Dark Knight Rises, let's talk a little bit about what we have problems with, because we started out we had problems with the Dark Knight, so I figure we might as well continue that trend. The one thing is, I do think this movie drags quite a bit. It drags way more than the Dark Knight did. And now again, I also give it a pass in certain respects because the Dark Knight was so well put together that any movie that was going to come out after the Dark Knight was going to have a huge amount of shoes to fill. So I'm not gonna I don't hate on it for that. I just hate on it for when it slows down and it really wants to press in the point of what's going on. The rich are the richest, and now the poor people want to make sure that the rich understand what it's like to be poor. I don't know. I'm just like, all right, yeah, I get it. I know what you're doing, but you're taking a long fucking time explaining it. And the other thing is, I like Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy is an incredible actor, and he does a great job with Bane. I never, ever, when I watched this movie, got behind the idea that Bane is a fucking lackey to Ra's al Ghul and Talia al Ghul, because in the comic books he was never that guy. Bane was his own person. He had his own gang. He had his own section that he carved out on his own. He wasn't a fucking lackey to some girl that climbed out of a. By the way, they bastardized that. They bastardized that because Bane was the one that climbed out in the comic books. He climbed out of the fucking hole in the ground of Mother Earth, and he said, "Fuck your vagina, bitch," and like the Mother Earth's vagina, and he became a guy that made his own way. I feel like that was a lot more compelling. Again, now I'm going to say Talia al Ghul and definitely Catwoman are tacked on situations that didn't need to be the movie at all. Just have Bane be the main fucking guy, keep basically the same storyline, but have Bane not be beholden to some girl that was the daughter of fucking Liam Neeson.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't fucking agree more, dude. You're absolutely fucking right. It didn't need to be there. Now, I do like Marion Cotillard that she's hot. Actually, she was hot up until the point where she turned heel. And then I was like, you're kind of ugly.
No,
like when she's like, but like I did appreciate her I appreciated her because when Bruce loses everything and he becomes poor as fuck, which I always hate to see in these movies. They did it to fucking Rocky, and now they did it to Bruce. In his last goddamn movie, they took away all his fucking money, and that sucks.
That's why Rocky 5 is I like Rocky 5 to a level, but that's such a cum stain when they take everything from him. I hate
and he never got his fucking money back, dude. No. He's still broke. Creed 3, Rocky's fucking still on goddamn food stamps. It's bullshit.
His EBT card running out.
He's like, yo, I had a restaurant, but it's not doing so good.
Yo, I went to Dollar General and they said it's not working.
Rocky 7.
Hey, yo, Polly, did you use my ABT?
What do you mean turkey's fucking not half off? I was like, oh, the coupons right here. He said, but no, I do like her in that because it was nice to see after Rachel fucked over Bruce so goddamn much. It was nice to see, dude. He loses everything. He loses all of his goddamn money, and then he's running. He's like, I don't even know how to get my fucking house. Alfred left me. My pets' heads are falling off. And then like they go in, and she's like, immediately, she's like, you know, he had no fucking money. He had nothing to offer. And she's like, let's fuck. And I was like, good for you. Someone's not using you.
Let's fuck by a fire that I just made because we didn't have electricity. Okay.
It was nice to see him get a piece. You know what I mean? Like, well, without strings.
No, yeah. And, I like the character of Talia al Ghul is a cool character. Again, in the comic books, guys, it gets so much better. Like, there's so much more. But there, and there are certain times you can combine things to tell a story that work.
Mhm.
But then there's times that you can't. Talia al Ghul and Ra's al Ghul and that whole storyline should be completely separate from fucking Bane.
Man, Nolan
Because
is
first off,
obsessed
Talia al
with
Ghul is
Ra's
the
al Ghul.
mother of the new Robin, Damien, which she like. There's a whole fucking like situation that happens with that. But yeah, I feel like. And by the way, I will also point out that Bruce Wayne in this reminded me a lot of just look, your girl's gone, dog. You gotta get over it. Fuck, you've been walking around. You're all crippled and shit.
Living
You got
now.
you got like a goddamn Van Gogh mustache / goatee. You don't even paint. You just act like an asshole. And
You
you've
look
been
like
missing for 7 years.
you look like shitty young Colonel Sanders, dude.
Yeah, You look like you smell like old fucking fish. I just feel like he smelled like fish bits.
He does look like he DoorDashes Long John
Yeah,
Silver's
and then
like
and
3
that's
times
why
a week.
Alfred's like, hey, look, that bitch that you had, like, you were all hung up on, she's a hoe. Like you made her,
I know.
you made in your mind, you made her out to be some wonderful, great, like type of Christian girl that was gonna take you and change you, and all along she was gonna fuck the attorney.
Dude, how fucking funny would it have been if Alfred just like went straight best friend? He was like, "Fuck her, fuck her, Master Bruce." You know what I mean? She was trying to bang that fucking attorney.
I think
And
I,
why
I think,
am I
I think he
Australian
was.
all of a sudden?
Yeah, I think he was. He's pretty much like, snap the fuck out of this. Holy shit.
She gave him her she gave him her precious rubies, her precious stones.
You acting like she took away your virginity, Master Bruce. But yeah, it was like that. Again, that's where it's draggy. And again, and also, by the way, it was very obvious that Nolan was stealing, not stealing, but borrowing or whatever from Frank Miller's The Dark Knight. When Batman had been, he hadn't been seen for a long time. It's very much similar and reminiscent of that. But the thing about it is, even Frank Miller came out and said, that is not my Batman. Like, Frank Miller said that. No.
Oh, I didn't know he did that.
No, dude, he dogged it. He dogged the Nolan shit. He's like, that is not even close to my comic book. He said, and by the way, and this is where it's going to piss off people. I mean, you guys probably know this because you all smart motherfuckers that wear like smart socks. He said that the closest, he said the best on-screen representation of the Dark Knight, Frank Miller said this, was Zack Snyder's Batman in BVS.
I like it.
No, 100%. He said the Nolan one was a shadow of what his character was, and he said it wasn't even close.
Wow.
So I mean, but you could see where Nolan was trying to use Frank Miller's version of Batman in The Dark Knight Rises, but Frank Miller himself said, nah, fuck that. That ain't even close, dog. I mean, you wrote Vanilla Ice shit off of fucking Under Pressure.
Yeah. But so, I mean, and look, overall,
still a great movie though.
You know what? Like, compared to usual movies, it is a great movie. Like, compared to Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, it's like The Ugly Child. You know what I mean?
Really
it's like, hey, Dad, can we go to the
favorite.
ballpark? Huh?
You're like,
yes, sure.
I was like, I don't want to take you, but I will because I love you.
Yeah,
I don't like you, but I love you.
I took the two good kids to the ballpark. I guess I'll take you to fucking Disney on Ice or something. He's like, thanks, Dad. But still, it's
just don't look at me. Don't look at me and fuck up the moment. Just look out that way. You remind me of your mother that I'm not with anymore.
Yeah, it kind of is the ugly stepchild of the trilogy, but it's still a Nolan Batman movie. It's just, dude, this movie had no fucking chance. It had no fucking chance. Like, you are not going to top The Dark Knight. You're just not going to do it, especially where you can't use Heath Ledger, unfortunately. Like, you're not going to do it. And where Nolan fucked up with this movie, dude, was case number one, fucking, if it pleases the court, goddamn Catwoman was terrible.
And
I like the actress, dude, but she's not even fucking Catwoman. What's the point? She has goggles. She can do gymnastics, and she has fucking goggles like she's playing Laser Quest. Why is this Catwoman? What the fuck?
She could laser quest me anytime.
You
just fall into her vagina. Go. I was like, I'm sorry, I fell down. I tripped. We were playing Laser Quest. I don't know what you're mad at me. I can't help how nature made it happen.
She looks like she bought her shit at Walmart for Christmas. It's that Spy Gear shit that kids
I have that. I used to use that for my Ghostbusters cosplay because I couldn't afford the real Ecto goggles. But no, again, Catwoman is a fan favorite, and everybody loves Catwoman. But I feel like it's so unneeded unless you're going to really give a huge part to that particular role. I don't
like
know.
a fucking GI Joe.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do something with that. Something more than what they did in this. I mean, you already had a great villain. Bane was awesome. Tom Hardy really did do a good job with Bane, and I like the idea of the whole idea, giving the city back to Gotham, but really it's just like pretty much, enacting anarchy into the city, much like what the Joker wanted to do, and just being like, let's see what people do, and but I don't like the time. I feel like the disrespect. I really think that Bane gets disrespected so much in the when they try to do like an action film of it, or like a live action film in this movie and in Batman. Batman Robin is like holy shit. That's like finding out you have cancer in your butt. Like Batman Robin is fucking terrible. Like it's not good at all.
Mark.
Yeah, it's really bad. But Bane, I feel like he gets constantly disrespected. He doesn't need to be a lackey. He's not a lackey. He didn't need to have any of the association with the League of Shadows. But again, I think like Nolan was like, well, let's tie it back to the first one and do the whole trilogy thing. Then we'll have the ghost of Liam Neeson, Qui-Gon Jinn appear to fucking Christian Bale in the whole of eternity.
Nolan loves fucking. He loves.
Yeah, but like, when he appeared, I was like, oh, look, it's Qui-Gon. He's a ghost now, and it's like, I don't know, man. But no, I gotta give. But what I will give the movie props for is that it was still entertaining. I still had a good time watching it. I do like when Batman comes back and he starts putting on the costume and he kind of thinks that it's going to be the same as it's always been, and he doesn't really have to do shit. And then he gets his ass kicked, and then he gets fucked up. It was very much like Rocky 3 when he takes on Clubber Lang, and he got used to be like, he's kind of like Pansy now, and he's kind of like candy caned ass. And then Bane's like, he's like, peace has made you weak, victory has defeated you, and then he fucks him up. And then he has to find out what he was in that hole of eternity.
Yeah.
And dude, I did like that.
I'll tell you this, man. The Bane Batman storyline, just those two in their storyline, and the Alfred. So Bane, Batman, and Alfred. That storyline is a fucking 10. Dude, that was some of the best shit you could have ever wanted, dude. When Batman fucking dude, it really is a Rocky movie. Like we keep referencing Rocky.
Really, the whole thing, Rocky Alfred, 3 and Rocky 4.
Alfred was Adrian. Yeah, no, Alfred was Adrian at the steps in Rocky 4 when he was like, "You can't win, Master Bruce," and then Christian Bale was like, and then like he goes and he gets this fucking knee thing where he's like kicking shit, and he starts to get that feeling again. He starts to get that tickle in his butthole. He's like, maybe I can be fucking Batman again. And as soon as Alfred's like, you can't do it, let it go, Bruce is like, you saying I can't fucking watch this shit. Watch this shit. And like that was a great storyline. And then it culminates in the first fight between him and Bane. It's a fucking Rocky movie, dude. He fights Bane, like you said, Rocky 3. And that scene when they meet on the bridge.
Oh, dude.
And Catwoman's watching, and like I love that Batman wastes no fucking time. They don't have any. He's like, Bane. He's like, he just walks. I like how I heard you be talking that shit.
And Bane comes with the fucking thunder right away. He's like, Bruce Wayne. He's like, God damn, man! Like you got to fucking throw my secret identity out right when I meet you. You couldn't wait it for that.
He just starts fucking hitting him, dude. And Bane's like, this ain't shit. And you knew Batman immediately was like, oh fuck, Alfred was right.
Yeah, dude, that's when you get into a fight with a schoolyard bully, and you're like, "Oh shit,
I fucked up."
Because you punched them, and they're like, and they like smile at you with like broken teeth, and you're like, "Oh, they get that at home worse." I'm fucking dead. But no, yeah, it's one of those movies. Yeah, the Bane Batman. Yeah, I agree. No, their dynamic, their storyline is where I think the movie should have just completely focused on. That should have been solely the focus. And then you have the extra characters.
But we initiated, aren't we, Bruce?
Well, and the voice is kind of like, okay, I don't know. I mean, it's funny that Nolan had to go back and clean up the audio just because people were like, does he have like 3 dicks in his mouth?
It was terrible.
I can't understand what he's saying.
Fucking terrible, dude.
It was bad. It was like, and I know that he was trying to be like, hey, you got to sound weird because you got a mask on. I was like, hey, I could understand Darth Vader because James Earl Jones knows how to fucking speak. So how does he sound like he's literally going down on the entire football team of the Cowboys?
Well, dude, that's the thing. Like, so that taking a step back before we get into Bane, because I got fucking opinions on that, dude. But that first fight scene, it was just so good. And then when he finishes him off, you got like, dude, when Bane's beating his ass, that fight scene was so fucking awesome to watch. Like, even though Batman's getting his ass kicked and you hate it, it was cool. So good to watch. Well, no, but when Bane gets him down on the ground, dude, and he starts, dude, when he's punching it, fucking helmet. Dude, it made me feel fucking weird in my stomach because it's just like, Batman, stop moving, dude. He's not fucking moving. He was just taking it.
It's like watching your dad get beat up in the front yard by a
It
tougher
was.
neighbor. You're like,
Yeah, dude.
I thought
That helmet was just like.
I thought my dad was the toughest motherfucker, and no, it turned out to be he's full of shit.
Oh my god, dude! I was like,
Well,
get
no,
up.
That fight scene was great, and then the last fight scene on the steps of the courthouse.
Batman
That looks like
yeah.
when Batman walks up on the steps and the snow's coming down, and he does that, and he starts. Dude, I was like, that looks like straight out of a graphic novel. Like it was shot so well, and it looks so amazing.
Down,
yeah,
all that shit.
But yeah, so fucking cool.
And the first one, when he breaks his fucking helmet off and rips it off, and the movie is so fucking sad about what's happening to Batman. They don't even show Batman's face because Batman's embarrassed as shit. He just got his ass whooped in front of Catwoman.
He wasn't really past that. He was just acting like he was sleeping. He just didn't want to look at him.
Dude, and then Bane does the fucking. He's like, do you know where we are? We're underneath your armory. And he's like, we will need it. And he drops that fucking thing, dude. And he's got all Batman shit. You're like, oh, I got so fucked, dude.
I got pissed about that too. That I was like, I got illogically pissed because it was the same way I felt like when I saw Batman Forever, when little asshole Riddler gets down there and destroys his Batcave. Like, what the fuck is going on? It's like, that should be secret. I was like, okay, first off, Lucian and goddamn Alfred, you're fired because you should have put it somewhere that they'd never find. You put it in the fucking city or I got pissed. I was like, all right, so now he's got all of his tumblers. he's got his bombs.
Bane was underground with like a fucking stud finder. He's like, oh, here it is. I found the Batmobile.
I feel like Batman should have been like on the ground. Like, that was mine. You guys should have come prepared.
He's like, don't touch my drums. Batman's like, don't touch.
I'm gonna put my dick on him. I'm gonna put my dick on him. My balls.
But dude, how pissed were you though? Like that badass fucking fight happens, and Batman on the steps in the snow, like Rocky gets his revenge and beats the fuck out of Bane. And then who fucking takes Bane out? Goddamn Catwoman rolls in with her fucking. I guess I knocked him over. And Bane's supposed to be dead. Like that's over with. Like
I think
all
Tom
that
Hardy was out of breath.
Fuck, that sucked. That was a terrible decision.
I didn't like that there wasn't like an. Here's. It is fair to say we did have a very big drawn out fight sequence between Bane and Batman before that moment happened. So it wasn't like we didn't get a good fight scene. But it does suck that there was no first of all, Batman was bleeding. He got shanked by a bitch he thought he could trust. So he was in trouble. So I don't think he was going to come out of that one.
That scene, by the way, was simply the worst acting Christian Bale's done as Batman. I mean,
his face, he was like,
yeah, dude, he was like, oh.
It's the same face you make. It's the same face as a male virgin. When a dick goes in. Oh my god, it's in.
Not before. Even before that, he had the where's the trigger? Where's it?
I was like, did you just use the same shit that you did in Dark Knight? He's like, where are they? Where's the trigger? Where are they? Like, shouting won't get you shit.
Dude, he should have been like Leonardo DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He's like, line? Can I get a fucking line? Because he just kept saying it over and over again. And you're right, dude. When she put that thing in, he went, oh.
Hey, guys. Hey, you do some, or girls know, if you're a virgin and the first time that little wiener slides into a vagina for the first time, you're like, I feel like if McLove's like, oh my god, it's in. I've got a boner.
Dude, they demasculized him so much because he goes, Talia? Or no, what was her name? Not Talia, but
Talia. No, it was
that was her real name, but
fake name. I don't know.
Fuck, but whatever it was, he's like,
Lyria. Her name's Lyria.
When she would turn it, he would go, oh.
I like how when that happens, he grabs her by the fucking head and he's like, oh. It's like, why don't you just? Because at first when I saw it, I was like, oh, you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna put his fucking. I was like, that's cool. That's a reactionary thing. He's gonna put his hand around her fucking neck and try to choke that bitch out before he dies, and then Bane might stop it. But he was just like, it's like, god damn it.
It kind of burns when you twist it.
Well, College Humor, collegehumor.com. I think that they made fun of it. Yeah, they got it really right. But I think he's talking about their dildo or something like that. That scene was really badly executed, and and it really just presented itself to be made fun of. again, I'm gonna go back.
That's the guy that did that. Where were the other drugs going?
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. This is. I know that people. I know people are gonna think we're shitting on this movie. This movie is really well done. I mean, it's a watchable movie for sure, but it was never gonna hold up to The Dark Knight. I don't think it's as good as Batman Begins for sure. I mean, I feel like the rankings for these movies go in order 1, 2, 3. Like, I mean, it's like the first one was good. Oh no, it's not. It's not in order. But the first one was good. Probably. Second one was the best. Third one is okay. But I feel like I like the central idea. I like the I liked the supporting cast. I thought but again, Cillian Murphy was underused as fuck. Barely in the movie. He's doing a kangaroo court. Like he looks like he's drunk on fucking Applebee's martinis.
I'm Judge Judy.
Yeah, that's all. He's like, I see that show. You exile by death. or fucking Wendy Williams. But yeah, and then but I think the main thing you and I can agree on, and I think that we all can agree on, is that Tom Hardy did really, really well with Bane. I think it was a really cool, unique character. The voice is terrible. I don't know why they did that for, because you can just make him sound fucking normal. Like I don't understand. Yeah. I understand it's coming through a mask, so it has to sound like it's like a remote thing, but it just didn't work. I mean, literally, it was so bad that the initial release, Nolan had to go back and clean the fucking audio up so people could understand what Bane was saying, especially at the stadium. The action scenes were good, but
dude. But that scene at the stadium, that was probably the funniest part of the whole goddamn fucking franchise, dude. When Bane's just sitting there and he's about to blow the stadium up and blow this child up and everybody, and that kid's singing the national anthem, and he's just sitting there waiting. He's like, he says, he does have a wonderful voice.
Yeah, it did remind. Yeah, it reminded me of that one drunk guy at hanging out at karaoke bar. It's like, you do have a wonderful voice. I want to kill everybody, but that has a
he was about to blow this fucking kid up into this giant hole. He's like, he does have a wonderful voice.
By the way, I think the guy that was running down for the touchdown is Jerome Bettis. I think
no, it's Hines Ward.
Hines Ward, yeah. But
Jerome Bettis' ass would have fucking, he would have went down immediately. He's a big dude.
That's true. But if Jerome Bettis had been running at Bane, he would have taken him down. Yeah. 1000%. But yeah, I mean, and again, I just feel like if they had focused more on the Bane Batman relationship and left out all the other tacked on stuff like the Catwoman thing and the Talia al Ghul thing. I know why they had to have it to make the story make sense, but for me, I feel like it just didn't work. It felt like they were trying to throw in characters that really didn't have any. Look, she's not God. Anne Hathaway's a better Catwoman than Halle Berry, but that's not saying shit. That's it. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, she's a better Catwoman than Halle Berry. She's no Sharon Stone. She's no Sharon Stone. She's not Michelle Pfeiffer.
It's not even her fault. Like, the character had no Catwomanisms to her. Like, what the fuck does she have to do with the goddamn cat to begin with here, man?
She stole some pearls at the beginning of the movie, and now she's stupid. And then her little, there's so many cutesy things they were trying to do. Like a little nod at the audience, like when she walks around her tight ass black spandex with her butt all. She's looking good though, but she has her little goggles up and they look like ears. I'm like, oh my God, stop. Just stop.
I put in a bow and it's got ears.
Stop.
So I'm totally Catwoman because I know karate and stuff, and Bruce wants my vag. And he doesn't. Well, I guess he does a little bit.
Well, he does later, but yeah, he gets that. But yeah, I don't know. And it's also there's parts of this movie that just, I don't know what it is, but when Joseph Gordon-Levitt is exploring why they're in the sewer tunnels and then he's doing the map thing, boring. I got fucking so goddamn stoned out of my mind, bored. And then he would go back to Commissioner Gordon while he was still laid up in bed eating Jello at the hospital. It reminded me of he was going to tell his principal what he did today, his projects. It was fucking boring. It was just fucking boring.
It was, dude. You're absolutely right. And then he even ripped, it was just so corny. He was like, you're a detective now, son. We don't believe in coincidences. And then Joseph Gordon-Levitt goes and the guy's like, that's a coincidence. He's like, I'm a detective now and I don't believe in coincidences.
Yeah, he did jump out like Captain Fantastic from the bush.
Well, and he looked like he never used a gun. He shot that guy and he was like, oh.
Dude, there was a
Gotham. What are you doing?
I swear to God, dude, there was a moment in this movie. I felt like it was step by step, because when Commissioner Gordon's on the phone call with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, He was like, "You're a detective now. You don't believe in coincidences." And he's like, "Yeah, but I don't know anything about civil engineering." Because he's looking at them. Oh my god, I could fucking sleep even saying those words.
It
He's
was
like, "I don't know
gold.
anything about civil engineering." He's like, "But you see patterns." And he was like, "Okay." And then he hung up. And it was
Yeah,
like, "Because you
that
could do it. You could do it, Danny boy."
you could take
Dude, the whole
20 minutes
fucking
off
the
this fucking
whole
thing.
sewer thing was
Yeah,
so fucking boring.
it was.
Like,
You're
what's
absolutely
going on? And him investigating, and he's like, "Hey, you were the guy. You were the construction worker or the road work guy that was blocking the police 2 weeks ago when I was trying to get all that stuff." I'm like, "What the fuck? Who
I don't
cares? Just shoot
care.
him."
Yeah. No, and that's the
No,
thing.
it was
Like,
boring. It was just boring. That was
it was,
boring.
and there was a lot of fluff in this movie that didn't need to be there, just like that. But and I was going back to the whole Bane thing, like that's dude, where Bane, you get the comic book moment where he picks him up and breaks his back, right?
That's
And then
cool.
that
Yeah.
was, dude, it was so genius to take him and put him in that prison. And to see Bruce have to fight his way back from a broken back, and Christian
Yeah.
Bale acted the shit out of that.
He
By the
did
way,
good. Yeah.
like he looked like me every time I get any kind of like a skid knee. I'm like, someone touches me, I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? Like he was perfect in that role. And then
When he's hanging
whole
about on the rope.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then like the way he has to climb out of there, and like the way Bane wants to make him watch the city crumble that he loves. I thought all that was genius. The Bane and Batman shit was just the backbone of this movie.
Yeah.
You take that out, this is a stinker. But dude, I agree. Like I said earlier, Christopher Nolan, he makes these great, amazing, perfect films. But almost in every single one of his movies, he has a glaring defect that he refuses to change. And in this, it's Bane's voice. And kind of Bane's mask, too. That mask looks sort of fucking stupid, dude.
I think it
Like,
was the best they could go with because I mean I didn't want to see a Bane, Batman, and Robin. I mean, even though
no,
that's more technically on the comic book side, but
I
I
didn't want
don't
to
know.
see that either. But like, that was like, it looked bad. Like, I just thought it looked bad. Like, you got all this money. You're Christopher Nolan. You've fucking taken Batman from the depths of Batman and
It looked
Robin.
like somebody like fucking face planted him into a grill, like a heat,
Yeah.
like a heater grill. Like
Yeah, it was just I didn't enjoy. And then like you're gonna do that voice. Like he has an audio thing. Like someone needs to check his fucking hearing, dude, because
Tom
just
Hardy. Yeah, it's
but
like you're trying to tell me that Tom Hardy couldn't do a better voice than that bullshit. Like I don't know.
and that's the thing too. Like you know me, dude. I think Tom Hardy is overrated as an actor. I just really do. But watching this, like he
Well, your
plays.
fucking ears are overrated. I don't like to hear your mouth.
But dude, he really does play a perfect Bane, and that's the best part about this movie is we
He's
get
a
to
big
see
motherfucker.
Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get to see Batman. You're a big guy. We get to see Batman against an actual against an actual formidable physical opponent that he can't beat. And to me, as just like a child inside, like that was amazing. Like watching him try to fight Bane, someone who could just beat the fuck out of him.
And I liked it because
so
it was reflective because what Bane represented was what Batman had begun. You know, like when Batman begins, like Batman had begun this like very charged up, like I don't have any fear, or I beat my fear. And that's what Bane essentially was before Batman, he took his time off and became Rocky and Rocky 3, like we talked about.
Yeah.
So he wasn't what Batman. So what Bane was essentially what Batman started, like this younger, fresher, like fucking lion. And he, eye of the tiger, bitch. He had the eye. And then Batman had kind of let it go, and then he had to get it back. But
what is it? Bane says he's like, you fight like a younger man.
Yeah,
like, that was great.
Dude. I think again, you're right. What saves this movie is Bane or Tom Hardy / Bane and Christian Bale's Batman.
I do
without
think Tom Hardy
Michael
was
Caine
great
and Michael the relationship with Michael Caine and what happens there. Without that, it's a well, you said a lot of fluff. Then it would just be fucking fluff. Yeah, that's all it would be. And but I think it's interesting because Nolan isn't known for doing this, so it was new for Nolan too. He's not known for doing sequel after sequel after sequel. So and when I mentioned earlier, it took a lot to even get him to come back for The Dark Knight, the second one, and he had no intentions of doing a third movie. And I feel like you can tell. I'm not saying it was a bad movie or anything. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
But you could tell the same heart that was put into Batman Begins and Dark Knight isn't there. It's not. David Goyer wrote a great script, and that was the only reason why Nolan decided to come back. But I just don't get it's not got the same heart.
And I would say, like, I see exactly what you're saying. I don't think it's the heart. I think it was pure exhaustion. Like, I think that, like, I think that, like, it's just like what's his, Daniel Craig said about James Bond. He was like, man, I love doing this, but if you ask me to do it again right now, I'd rather break this table and slit my wrists.
Yeah.
Like, I think by the time he got to the end of filming this, which is why there's so many mistakes at the end of the movie, I think by the time they got to the end of this, dude, I think Christopher Nolan was just fucking burnt out. I think he tried to make every single tiny thing so perfect that by the time he got there, he was like, I fucking whatever. Like, dude, when Talia died, she goes,
yeah, it was terrible. Yeah,
it was awful. Like,
you know, I'm not watching the OC or a fucking Batman movie.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. I think that Nolan was just like, all right, well, you know, I put everything I had creatively into Batman with Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, and now there ain't nothing left in the tank. And then it was like, I feel like it was a scene from Angels of the Outfield. It's like, I got nothing left. He's like, yeah, you do. You got an angel with you right now. Like, you know, it was like he was like, I'm done. I blew my fucking shoulder out. And then your goddamn manager from the bullpen says, yeah, you do. You got an angel with you. You got one more inning in you. And then Christopher Nolan's like, all right, well, I'll do it because, I mean, I trust you. But I mean, you know, look, you know, I really, because I know people do like The Dark Knight Rises. I feel like I don't think The Dark Knight Rises is a bad movie, like, at all. Like, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it an 8.0. I think it's a great fucking movie.
Same.
It's really fun. But I feel like there is like glaring problems with the movie that we overlook because we love Christopher Nolan's trilogy.
Yeah.
But to me personally, it's not Batman Begins and it's not The Dark Knight. It's one more hurrah into the night with Christopher Nolan that Warner Brothers desperately wanted him to make.
Yeah.
And it took him years. I mean, it took him years to fucking do it anyway. Because I mean, you got to remember, Dark Knight was huge in 2007. If he were that kind of guy, that kind of director was like, I'm just trying to do it for the attention and the money, he would have done one 2 years later. It took him until 2012, 2013. So
dude, maybe when we retire from the channel, I'll do this, but I would love to make a fan cut of this movie and just have it be all about Bruce, Alfred, and Bane. You know what I mean? And just like wash away all the bullshit, because that would be a great fucking
Fox was good too.
45-minute movie. Oh yeah. No, I'm not saying everything else is bad, but like for the most part, like those three essential, those were great. There was moments of 10s in this, and that's why the movie's an 8 for me, despite its problems. And by the way, I felt like they picked up shittily from The Dark Knight. I just want to say that real quick.
Oh, they really did, yeah.
Like, you have this great, cool idea where Batman's running away, and Gary Oldman's got this amazing thing, and I just felt like they kind of dropped the ball as soon as they picked it up, because it didn't really feel like a continuation of that. Like, all of a sudden, Bruce is mustachio man living in a castle, and Michael Caine's
the motherfucker looked like Van Gogh from the pages.
Yeah.
But no, that dude, yes, because why set it 7 years into the future?
Just the fire rises.
It does. It needs to rise.
They're expecting one of us in the wreckage, brother.
I'm not going. What if you just said, I'm not doing that?
Like, no, take me with you. Fucking.
He was like, or why don't you do it, bitch? You already got a respiratory problem.
That was, by the way, that was a bad piece of acting by Tom Hardy when he goes, with no survivors. He stands up and goes, with no survivors.
Yeah.
It was corny, dude.
Yeah. Shit, I forgot what I was gonna say. Fuck. I was excited about it too, and I forgot.
Sorry.
No, I don't remember it. I don't remember. It's fine. Like, it's fine. I don't remember.
No, we were talking about Van Gogh, Bruce Wayne in the beginning.
I know I said that, but then I was saying it as a leftover thing. I really don't remember what I was going to say. It's fine though.
Okay.
But it was probably unimportant. But the point being is, like, The Dark Knight Rises was fun. It was a decent follow up to The Dark Knight, and you know, while we still gave it a good score, 8.0 is a really high score for a movie. I don't, you know, it would be hard for any director to follow up that movie and make it better or outshine that movie. So
yeah.
You know, I mean, there are things that I would have done differently, but I mean, I'm not a director, and I'm not like, you know, involved in the corporate studios, you know, probably pressuring him for certain things. But
yeah, the movie.
I feel like, you know what I feel like? I feel ultimately it was not worthy of a Christopher Nolan kind of movie.
Yeah, yeah, it's tough, dude. It's tough that this is the finisher, and I think that's why the movie was dead on arrival, because like you're coming off of what The Dark Knight did, and look at Godfather 3. Fucking kind of same situation, right? There's some great stuff.
That pure sucked though. That was
there's some
terrible.
great shit in there, but then why we got to have incest? Like, you know what I mean?
That
Like,
was no fucking. That movie was just garbage, dude. I hate that fucking movie.
a lot of it, yeah, but it did have some good stuff, you know, like, you know, the helicopter scene and shit like that. But
Yeah,
anyways, yeah, it's an 8.0 for me, dude. It's just there's so much of this is so good, and it's an 8.0 because you got to forget the Dark Knight and Batman Begins exist and look at this. If those movies didn't exist and someone came out with the Dark Knight Rises, I'm pretty sure a lot of us would be a lot more into this movie than we are. You know what I mean? Like it would be way higher on our list because
yeah.
dude, it was never going to match the Dark Knight, you know, and add to that the fact that they're like, this is the closing one, this is the last you're going to get. We had so many things we wanted to see, and our hopes so high, they were never going to please us sexually.
Well,
in the bedroom
you know,
or
and
otherwise.
I just think they mishandled, Bane.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you could have done a lot more with that character if you hadn't been, you know, so determined to make him Talia al Ghul's bitch.
Yeah.
And the whole Ra's al Ghul and the League of Shadows. Like, all right, you know, and again, I understand because you're trying to tie it back to the first Batman and it's supposed to be a trilogy, but why does it have to be?
Yeah.
I mean, why does it have to be?
Yeah. It's like that meme, dude. It's like that meme where he's walking with, like, the dude's walking and here's Bane and Joker and all this cool shit, but then he's looking behind him. He's like, ooh, and it's Ra's al Ghul walking the other way. Like, Nolan is obsessed with Ra's al Ghul for some reason.
Ra's al Ghul is a great character, but if you're gonna do Ra's al Ghul, then do him right. Do the whole fucking 3 movies with nothing but Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, true. And dude, they spent so much time building up Bane. Like, I mean, they built him the fuck up, and they did a great job building him up and making him formidable. And then you do all that, and then how does he get taken out? Catwoman bursts through a wall with a motorcycle and nicks him, and she's like, whatever she said there. Like, that's how you're gonna
torpedo him. She torpedoed him to the wall. That pussy torpedoed him.
What a fucking cock tease, man. That whole thing.
You imagine that though. What if Nolan had done that? If he had a plan, because again, I don't think he had a plan for a trilogy at all. Like, again, I mean, you guys can go look this up if you, you know, if you question me, you can look this up. Nolan didn't have a plan for a trilogy, but if Nolan had set out to say, I'm going to make a Batman trilogy, that's what I'm going to do. And I love Ra's al Ghul because I think he's the most interesting Batman villain, period. Okay, that's his opinion. He would have taken Ra's al Ghul from the first movie, introduced him, training Batman, all that. He would have built him up through the second one, and then the third one would be the final act. And I think I'd be like, oh, dude, that's badass. Now Liam Neeson and him are going to come full circle because in the first one, you could use... imagine this, dude. In Batman Begins, Ra's al Ghul still trains Batman. That whole thing still happens. But because Ra's al Ghul isn't the main villain at the end, you give all of that screen time to Cillian Murphy as Scarecrow. And then he becomes the villain under Ra's al Ghul, who's very much now like the villain in the shadows, like a Thanos kind of thing in Marvel, right? And then in the second one, the Joker kind of thing, and maybe Ra's al Ghul has touched on with Joker, I don't know, to try to create this chaotic environment in Gotham to destroy itself. And then in the third one, you finally get Liam Neeson and Bruce Wayne coming to blows, essentially. Well, I mean, if you're gonna do it that way, then just make Ra's al Ghul the main fucking guy.
Yeah,
for all 3 movies.
You could make a case that Nolan over convoluted all 3 of the films at times. Like, you know what I mean? At times, like you can make that case. I think that was
Bane's dead though. I think in Nolan's universe, I don't think Bane died.
And that's the thing. What if they did do a Nightwing? They bring Bane. I don't know. I'm just saying. But anyway, so yeah, 8.0 for both of us. There's glaring weaknesses and glaring holes in The Dark Knight Rises. But when you compare it to other movies, like a bad Nolan Batman film is like still better than like 85% of what you get in the world today. So that's why it's an 8, even with all its problems.
Yeah. A bad Nolan film is like getting a shitty Big Mac. It's still a Big Mac.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it may not have like the greatest, Thousand Island dressing on it, but it's still a Big Mac.
And it's still a joy to watch until you get to like the soggy in the middle, as you.
I feel like the only way to watch. No, it's not, because I was like, oh, the only way to watch Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. When you watch those back to back, they feel good. Like they just really go together. Peanut butter and jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. And then when you get to The Dark Knight Rises, it's like, I don't know though. Somebody put almonds in my shit. It's like it's still fun. I mean, it's still good, but if you're not a fan of almonds, you're like, oh fuck, I didn't know I was gonna be eating an almond joy tonight.
We'll get to some super chats before we close out. Austin, thanks, buddy. Says Jay should be a superhero that only gains his powers when he eats peaches and has to wash it down with a beer he hates. I'd watch that movie.
Yeah, I would too. I'd watch that because I don't know how that would work out. It's like, I'll spread your peach.
Do you think by peaches he means vaginas?
I mean, I guess. I mean, I was like, I don't. Are you talking about like the Popeye thing? I don't know. It's like if I eat peaches, I'll get super strong, or I don't know.
I get
That's
super
weird.
strong when I eat vagina.
Call me Peachtree.
It's the spinach of the world.
Call me Peachtree, bitch. I'm
We're
here to
peach
spread
tree people.
peaches.
Jonathan,
Suck on my
man,
peach.
thanks, buddy. He says, would you guys want to see Mr. Sinister in the MCU? You're fucking
Mhm.
right, Jonathan.
Mr. Sinister is so fucking underratedly used. Oh my
Dude,
god, yes.
how cool was that toy back in the day when you pulled his back and his eyes light up red? The
I got a statue of Mr. Sinister on the you can't see it, but dude, Mr. Sinister is fucking freaky. He's scary, he's weird. He's basically a geneticist gone crazy and wild with the idea of creating a super duper mutant. And then and there's no ethics that stop him. There's no boundaries of what's right and wrong. I think that's the scariest thing. I mean, you're talking about essentially a mad scientist with all the knowledge in the world and then power on top of it. It's fucking
from my heart and from my hand. Why don't people understand?
It's like if Dr. Fauci fucked a genie.
But like a tall, handsome genie.
But then he became like really mean and like mad at the whole world and said,
Hey,
now everyone would die if I so deem.
Timothy Oliphant would play a killer Mr. Sinister.
He would be a really good one.
They did good. Courtney Reed, thanks, buddy. He says, just came from watching the Batman. Notice how he said that. Just came from watching
Courtney,
the
I'm
Batman.
jealous as fuck of you.
He says, Jay, please tell the Dark Knight that there's a new sheriff in town.
Wow, bro.
Big words. Big words from you.
You know what? Courtney, I'm going to say this to you and to all the fans of the Nolan trilogy, because I am going to be with Courtney on this. No one said you can't own a gun. No one even said you can't carry a gun. You just can't carry a gun in Tombstone. In town. He's saying, y'all in trouble. Y'all fucked around a long time and thought Nolan was the only one that could make a good Batman movie. And then Matt Reeves comes in and says, fuck y'all.
Now, see, I feel like my response to that is, I don't believe you. Like, I don't believe it. It'll have to prove
I
me
did
fucking
see somebody,
wrong.
I think it's in the comments that when we were doing these Batman reviews, somebody was like, wait till you guys see the Batman. It's gonna completely demolish the Nolan trilogy.
To be fair, Courtney was at least semi-right. I can say that right now because I have seen multiple people say that this is the best Batman movie, like the quintessential.
I swear to God, I hope it is. I hope it's amazing, and
I hope it is too. Fuck yeah!
And the reason why I do, and I love the Nolan trilogy. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I almost want to do it just to spite fucking people that said Robert Pattinson was going to suck, and I just want to shove his fucking beautiful, sparkly face into their face and be like, kiss it.
But more people said Ben Affleck was going to suck as Batman than they have Robert Pattinson. No, so
no, dude, I don't believe that. Robert Pattinson's literally fucking Edward from Twilight.
But I think most people had, if anybody had seen a fucking movie or two before, most people knew that was like a 10 years ago.
I'd agree with you except for
Twilight.
I'd agree with you except for the fact Ben Affleck had already made his name and established his name after certain. So he did like some of All Fears. He did like The Town. He did other movies. But that wasn't good enough when he was cast as the Batman. Literally, everybody they haven't seen like Robert Pattinson's been in some really good shit that people haven't seen at all.
By the way, Austin says that a peach is ass. You'd be eating ass. All you do is eat ass, is what he said.
Well, then I guess I'd be the first superhero to kill themselves because I'm not going to do that.
I don't know.
Yeah, so my superpower would be like farting out of my mouth.
Speaking of which, I'm seeing the Batman Friday afternoon. So our stream will probably be 9 p.m. Friday night. We will review the Batman spoiler free. And then the following Monday night, we will be here with our full-on spoiler party stream for the Batman.
What?
Jay, don't you fucking spoil it for me. Don't you text me.
You're doing we're doing a spoiler on Friday or Monday?
No, the review will be Friday at 9 p.m.
Right.
The review stream. And then Monday night will be the spoiler stream.
I see. Yeah. I'm going to spoil it for you tomorrow.
Don't fucking do it.
I really will. I'm going to tell you what happens at the end.
You cocksucker, you.
Don't you not like that. I won't do that to be a bitch. But I think it's funny is Mike's done this before and my brother. They'll be like, if you really want to know though, it's badass. If you want to know, I'll tell you.
Yeah, and you
Well,
always
you
say
can't
yes, but
dangle
I
that
always say
fucking
no.
carrot in my face and be like, I'm
Mm-mm.
not gonna not want to
I
know.
don't want to fucking know.
I mean, you're not
I
gonna
don't
not
wanna
get Randy
know.
Jackson's autograph on a katana sword if you see him at an airport. You're gonna do it.
Hey guys, hope you guys enjoyed these Batman reviews. We will see you Friday night, 9 p.m. We love your fucking mouths.
We gotta get out of here, guys. We's getting drunk on Bane sauce.
Will. Bye.
That's just my game.
See you guys. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We really appreciate
It was fun,
you.
man.
Have a great fucking week.